Have you ever seen such a poor duchess, faced with exorbitant customs duties, that her most valuable possession is actually a carrot? Reggie told Luo Qi that His Highness, the Crown Prince, is an incredibly powerful person. At the age of 13, he could already defeat ferocious monsters in the entire empire. Only that iron club-wielding cleric can rival him. Even the terrifyingly powerful papal hall is wary of him. Listening to Reggie's analysis, Luo Qi felt that things were truly difficult. It felt like one wrong step could cost her life. But the Boda Duchy was already in dire financial straits. How were she and Reggie supposed to survive? She worried herself sick over this family, while her foolish brother, Verdi, only thought about telling her fairy tales. He even expected afternoon tea. He'd get hypoglycemic without it. Right now, she desperately needed some sweet treats to cleanse her soul. But why were carrots served again? Where was the promised afternoon tea? Why was there only plain water? Verdi was already munching away happily. Seeing that Luo Qi hadn't touched her food, he urged her to try it, saying it was delicious. Today was his birthday, and Verdi had specially chosen them. Luo Qi picked up a carrot and took a bite. Regardless, it was prepared for her. She had to accept this kindness. Thinking this, Luo Qi munched on the carrots. They were actually sweeter and tastier than she expected. Seeing them eat happily, Verdi gave a blissful smile. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through Verdi's waist. Reggie recognized it as exhaustion and felt a pang of sympathy. He wanted Verdi to rest for a while. Verdi felt that all of this was his duty. He had always been happy to do it and wanted to refuse Reggie's kindness. Luo Qi abruptly interrupted him. She understood poor people too well. For poor people, falling ill was the most heartbreaking and painful thing. In her past life, she lived alone and helpless. Even when sick, she couldn't afford to go to the hospital. She could only rely on painkillers and endure it silently. Now that she had finally started a new life and had family who cared about her, how could she let them suffer like she did in her past life? Luo Qi pushed Verdi to go back and rest, ordering him not to refuse in her capacity as the Duchess. To her and Reggie, Verdi and the butler were like family. Verdi had toiled alone in this declining family for so long. It was truly remarkable that he had persevered. He must have suffered greatly from poverty, just like she had. She couldn't just stand by and do nothing. She had to find a way to escape poverty. It seemed there was only one way. Since the Crown Prince's soul fragment was the core element of the novel and the heroine's key to success, she had to obtain it. As long as she possessed the soul fragment, she could make the Crown Prince feel emotions. She had to make good use of this. Only in this way could she ensure the safety of the Boda Duchy. At the same time, the Empress ordered someone to send a letter to the Karnov Duchy. Upon receiving the invitation, Reggie went to the imperial palace. The Empress stated frankly that she could help the duchy repay all its debts, on the condition that Luo Qi become the Crown Prince's fiancé. As long as Reggie agreed to her conditions, she could help the duchy revive. Back at the duchy, Luo Qi knew that the Empress had summoned Reggie to discuss the engagement. Although Reggie looked like he was about to cry when he was called away, looking utterly pitiful after visiting the imperial palace, he immediately rushed to the Bimiao territory. This meant she didn't have much time left. The aid storyline was about to begin. She had to set off immediately to find the capital for her business venture. The sooner she found it, the sooner she could escape poverty. The Crown Prince's feelings would have to wait for her. In the novel, Selena accidentally picked up a blue bead while strolling along the Rockingham seashore. It was the sole fragment of the Crown Prince's emotions. At that time, she also coincidentally saved the emperor, who almost drowned in the waves. As a result, Selena was richly rewarded and granted a noble title. She was also invited by the emperor to enter the palace. It was during this time that she met the Crown Prince, thus beginning their romantic story. So, her current mission was to find that fragment before the heroine and receive the emperor's reward. It was bound to be a very generous reward. But the most pressing matter was how she was going to get there. After dressing up in Rockingham national attire, carrying a heavy bag of carrots, she prepared to leave for Bimiao. Bimiao was quite convenient to reach, right next to their territory. Rockingham was a bit further. Reggie planned to find a way to Rockingham after arriving there. Luo Qi bid farewell to the butler. Preparing to embark on her path to riches, she arrived in Bimiao not long after. However, she discovered that crossing the border required paying a tax. But all she had were carrots. What was she supposed to do? waiting online, extremely urgent. To think that she, the daughter of an imperial duke, was actually mocked by Bimiao soldiers for being too poor. Who would believe it? Luo Qi had just arrived in Bimiao and was stopped by the guards for not having money to pay the border tax. The guards listened to Luo Qi explain that her lunch was carrots. They were practically dying of laughter. So many carrots for lunch. Who would believe that? They certainly didn't. This ragged dog must be a villain. Seeing the guards about to make trouble for her, Luo Qi was speechless, but these really were just ordinary carrots. However, the guards didn't seem to want to hear her explanation. Seeing that things were about to escalate, at that moment, a man approached them. It turned out the man was Baron Harris. Especially when the man removed his hat, everyone was startled when they saw his face. Emerald green eyes and lavender hair undoubtedly proved he was from the Empire. Baron Harris, the Duke of Carnov, sighed coldly. At this point, the guards were panicking. They had actually offended the Duke. Fortunately, the Baron pleaded for them. Otherwise, they would be done for. Luo Qi held up a carrot and offered it to the Baron, saying she wanted to go to Rockingham and hoped he could help her. Unexpectedly, the Baron said he was also broke and couldn't help. Seeing this, Luo Qi quickly said that riding in a cargo carriage would be fine too. Such a dazzling duchess, who could bear to refuse? Finally, the Baron agreed to find a cargo carriage for her to Rockingham. Hearing this, Luo Qi gave him a brilliant smile. She would definitely repay this favor. In a short while, the Baron found a spacious cargo carriage for her. Luo Qi offered a carrot as a token of gratitude, and then boarded the carriage and left. The Baron looked at the departing carriage, then at the carrot in his hand, and couldn't help but laugh. Just like that, 3 days later, Luo Qi arrived in Rockingham. When she said goodbye to the merchant, she offered another carrot. There was no other way. All she had left were carrots. After thanking the merchant, Luo Qi prepared to depart for the Emerald Sea. In the original story, Selena found the soul fragment in this sea. However, she was hesitant now. This was the private land of Countess Aines, the heroine's childhood friend. That's why Selena could pick up the fragment while strolling on the beach. Even if she was discovered, it wouldn't matter. But it was different for her. If she trespassed so rashly, wouldn't she be arrested? But she couldn't worry about that anymore. This was her seed money for her business. She couldn't lose it. Thinking this to herself, Luo Qi frantically searched. She had to find a soul fragment before Selena. Suddenly, a spear pressed against the back of her head. She had been discovered. What terrible luck. Selena was never discovered. Was that the heroine's halo? You're not human. Soon, Luo Qi was escorted to the guard camp. Luo Qi briefly explained to them that she went to the Emerald Sea to look for a lost item. The guard watched Luo Qi munching on a carrot, feeling awkward. Seeing this, Luo Qi assumed he wanted to eat. So she pulled out a carrot and offered it to him, explaining that it was a carrot from her territory. The guard accepted the carrot with a flushed face and thanked Luo Qi. Just then, a female voice called out from behind, "Who's there?" It was the owner of the Emerald Sea, Countess Aines. After exchanging greetings, she invited Luo Qi to her castle. Looking at the table full of exquisite pastries, Luo Qi's eyes widened. This was the best meal she'd had since she transmigrated. It was so delicious, she could eat it all. Seeing Luo Qi eating with relish, Aines teased, "You didn't sneak onto our beach just for these snacks, did you?" Luo Qi spurted out her tea. Just as she was about to explain that she hadn't, that she wasn't, Countess Aines said with a chuckle, "You go to the seaside to look for something, aren't you? I can invite you to go, but there's a guest there now. You could go tomorrow." Luo Qi immediately guessed it was the emperor and his lover. This was also the time when Selena would find the soul fragment. This wouldn't do. She had to find it before the heroine. But at this point in time, getting there would be difficult. Countess Aines gently refused her request to go now. Luo Qi knew there was nothing she could do. After all, who would dare offend the emperor? Seeing this, Luo Qi didn't push the matter. "Your chef is truly skilled. The pastries are delicious." Luo Qi, loving the pastries, was ready for another serving. She thought this woman was an angel. She had to pray that this little angel would have less work and more money in the future. Just then, someone walked in through the stone gate. The newcomer was actually the heroine of this novel, Selena. She had red hair, and pumpkin-colored eyes. Her face was beautiful and languid. Having read the original work, Luo Qi recognized her at a glance. If you made it this far, give this video a like. Selena had never seen someone so beautiful. Luo Qi, having inherited elven blood, was truly stunning. What otherworldly beauty! Luo Qi understood Selena's reaction. This celestial beauty was all thanks to her elven ancestors. But now wasn't the time for this. She had to hurry and get the soul fragment. Luo Qi sighed as she ate her pastries. She had to get to the seaside quickly. Hearing her muttering, Selena couldn't help but ask, isn't that area restricted? How could the Duchess's daughter lose something there? Luo Qi, munching away, said she really did lose something important there. Seeing Luo Qi's serious expression, Selena immediately said she knew a way to sneak in. She had planned to go tomorrow, but if Luo Qi wanted to go, she could take her. Luo Qi froze. So that was when Selena found the soul fragment. Luo Qi looked at Selena expectantly. I lost a blue gem while walking by the seaside today. Can you help me look for it? Selena smiled brightly. She would be happy to. So they agreed to go first thing in the morning. The next day, while it was still dark and Luo Qi was still asleep, Selena snuck in her room and woke her up. Luo Qi was startled, but quickly got ready and went to the seaside with her. Soon, they arrived at the seaside. Luo Qi looked at the seaside, which had been heavily guarded yesterday, but was unguarded today. Was this the legendary heroine's halo? Looking at Selena, who was excitedly helping her search for the blue gem, Luo Qi suddenly felt a pang of envy. Suddenly, Luo Qi remembered something. She warned Selena not to pick up the gem if she found it, but to call her over. If the heroine touched the gem, she might just pick it up for herself. Who knew what other bugs were hidden within this convoluted plot? The weather was terrible today. The Emperor's shipwreck, as described in the book, should also be today. It would be strange if the ship didn't capsize in this weather. The Emperor was such a fool. Sure enough, the heroine's halo took effect. She found the blue gem in no time. Luo Qi carefully picked up the gem. She hadn't expected it to be so small. But in any case, she finally found it. Perfect. Luo Qi quickly pocketed the blue gem. Her future would surely be bright. Selena looked at the excited Luo Qi. Did you find it? Luo Qi smiled at her. I did. Selena was very happy. Suddenly, she noticed something in the distance at sea. Luo Qi guessed it was the Emperor's shipwreck scene. She let out a very indifferent wow. Selena found it unbelievable that someone would be sailing in this weather. Luo Qi looked unconcerned. Otherwise, why would I call him a fool? Selena watched the struggling ship. At this rate, the ship will capsize. Luo Qi munched on a carrot. It probably will. As soon as she finished speaking, the ship capsized. Luo Qi glanced at it indifferently and pushed Selena forward. You should go save the Emperor. Selena froze. The Emperor fell into the sea. Yes, you should go check it out. As Luo Qi spoke, she took another bite of her carrot, watching Selena rush towards the sea. Luo Qi thought the carrots from her territory were truly delicious. She had already obtained the Crown Prince's soul fragment. The exquisite taste would be left for Selena. Soon, the knights arrived, albeit belatedly. They witnessed the scene of Selena and Luo Qi rescuing the Emperor and his consort. Luo Qi, seeing them, hurried forward and explained how the waves were too high and the boat capsized. Thankfully, Selena saved the Emperor. Watching the buzzing crowd, Luo Qi knew it was done. The Emperor would be indebted. The Emperor loudly praised Selena's bravery in saving him. He wanted to bestow upon Selena the title of Viscountess as a token of his gratitude, and invited them to the palace as guests. Luo Qi thought to herself, it seems I'll be meeting the Crown Prince soon. The Emperor suddenly stared at Luo Qi thoughtfully. Come to think of it, this was the first time he had seen the Duke of Karnav's daughter. She was already 20 years old. Luo Qi politely curtsied. The Emperor laughed heartily. You become quite the lady. After you arrive at the imperial city, I shall certainly bestow upon you a suitable gift. Luo Qi bowed again, thinking to herself, I don't want a gift. Just give me the equivalent in cash. And so, they boarded the royal carriage, enjoying expensive pastries on their way to the palace. Selena, watching the cheerful Luo Qi, couldn't help but admire the Duchess's daughter's adaptability. She still couldn't believe she had suddenly become a Viscountess. She had simply followed Luo Qi's words and saved the people in the sea. Luo Qi felt a little helpless. Could she tell Selena that the plot had changed because of her intervention? According to the original story, Selena should have jumped into the sea on her own. But now, It was as if she had been pushed. Luo Qi, snapping back to reality, offered her a pastry. Perhaps this is fate. There's nothing to worry about. We're going to receive rewards. Shouldn't we be thinking about how to make the most of it? Luo Qi suddenly realized she'd misspoken. That's not right. We should be thinking about enjoying the moment. Selena couldn't help but chuckle. You're right. And so, the two comfortably arrived at the palace. Don't touch my little bag. Even though it's ugly and dirty, I love it very much. Previously, Luo Qi and Selena arrived at the palace for a short stay. Upon their arrival, 2 rows of servants were already waiting. Seeing them, the servants hurriedly bowed and explained their presence. As the emperor's benefactors, he had specifically ordered 2 rooms previously occupied by royalty to be prepared for them. During their stay, they would be provided with clothes from the capital's most renowned clothing stores. Furthermore, their living expenses would be quite generous. Luo Qi, who was looking around, immediately became interested. Does this mean we'll be given money? The head servant confirmed. Not only will you receive funds to maintain a respectable appearance, but there will also be an additional bonus. Hearing about the bonus, both girls' eyes lit up. We thank His Majesty for his generosity. The head servant assigned Selena to the Rose Room and Luo Qi to the Starlight Room. Luo Qi looked around the room curiously. This room has so many windows. The heating bill must be very high. But the royal family certainly doesn't need to worry about that. Just then, someone approached from behind. It was Leah, a servant assigned to attend to Luo Qi. During her stay, Leah would serve Luo Qi according to royal standards. First, let's take care of this dirty thing. As Leah spoke, she took Luo Qi's bag, her face full of disdain. Seeing her bag about to be thrown away, Luo Qi broke out in a cold sweat and snatched it back, clutching it to her chest. And no, this is very important to me. The soul fragment was still inside. Leah was startled by her reaction. Is there something important in this bag? Luo Qi hugged the small bag tightly. Yes, very important. But she didn't have any other bags. Leah, understanding, immediately arranged for a young maid to bring a selection of exquisite bags for Luo Qi to choose from. Luo Qi gazed longingly at the bags. Finally, she selected a floral one. Leah, sighing inwardly at Luo Qi's unfashionable attire, turned and explained, "When His Highness, the Crown Prince, returns, many eyes will be on your attire as a member of the royal court. You must pay extra attention to how you dress." Luo Qi felt a pang of embarrassment. Was she being criticized for dressing so poorly? After a flurry of activity from the maids, Luo Qi finally looked like a proper noble lady. The young maids gazed at the transformed Luo Qi with excitement. She's so beautiful. Elven blood truly is different. Her purple hair is so mysterious, and it goes so well with that silver headband. We actually got to dress such a beautiful lady. We're so in love. Just then, 2 knocks sounded at the door. A young maid gracefully approached, carrying the emperor's reward. Luo Qi's heart pounded with excitement. This bag must contain her living expenses. There must be a lot of money, right? After all, it's from the emperor. Surely he wouldn't just give her a small amount, just enough for snacks. The maid opened the first box and presented it to Luo Qi. This is a very popular hair ornament among young noble ladies these days. Luo Qi stared at the object, which looked like a tourist souvenir. What is this? Did they glue each petal on individually? I really don't understand why the artisans would go to so much trouble. Despite her thoughts, she feigned delight. Luo Qi pretended to like it and placed a flower hairpin in her hair. Suddenly, with a careless flick of her hand, the hairpin fell. The young maid's eyes widened in horror at the falling ornament. Luo Qi's face froze in shock. A sharp crack echoed through the room. Everyone's faces paled. This was a gift from the emperor, and it was broken. What should they do? Waiting online, so anxious. Everyone who's watching, tap the screen to support Luo Qi. Luo Qi felt a sense of impending doom. Could she escape this predicament? When Luo Qi transformed into an elf, the entire palace was stunned. Previously, the emperor's gifted ornament shattered into pieces. Luo Qi felt like she was doomed. Fortunately, the petals were undamaged. A daring idea suddenly struck her. She asked the maids to gather the petals and undid her newly styled hair. The maids watched curiously, wondering what she was planning. Luo Qi told them to watch carefully. A Luo Qi, as beautiful and ethereal as an elf, appeared before them. Basking in their envious gazes, Luo Qi began to improvise. She told them this was an elven adornment, a representation of purity and nature. The young maids listened with adoration. As they chattered excitedly, Leah arrived to remind Luo Qi that it was time to leave. Leah was going to take her on a tour of the palace. Just then, Selena appeared. As expected of the female lead, her aura was radiant. What was with that you died of Fa Gong Xiaogua? The palace gardens shimmered with gold. The palace was bustling with people. Leah explained that it was the social season, and the palace would be crowded day and night. Luo Qi, staring at the throng of blonde men in the square, broke out in a cold sweat. How could she find the crown prince among so many blonde men? Suddenly, she overheard some women discussing the crown prince. What was going on? They were saying that this banquet was being held to select a crown princess. Wasn't the empress supposed to have already arranged an engagement with Reggie by now? The plot had changed again. Was it because she had gone to Rockingham and disrupted things? Oh no, what if the crown prince met both her and Selena? How would the story unfold then? Although she had this soul fragment, there was a scene in the original story where Luo Qi, after discovering the truth, stole it and went to find the crown prince. She believed that with the sapphire, the crown prince would surely fall in love with her. But in the crown prince's eyes, she only saw annoyance. Ultimately, defeated and regretful, Luo Qi returned the soul fragment to Selena. Thinking of this, Luo Qi felt that she should only meet the crown prince when she was alone. Having made up her mind, Luo Qi began to surreptitiously scan the crowd. Selena, noticing Luo Qi's furtive behavior, asked curiously what she was looking for. Luo Qi said she hadn't seen the crown prince yet. She heard he had returned to the capital and wanted to see if he was here. Leah was speechless. Hasn't it been in the newspapers many times? Why haven't you seen it? Luo Qi simply said she doesn't read the news. Leah coughed twice. Resignedly, she explained, there's a portrait of His Highness in the ballroom on the first floor of the West Wing. It was originally open to the public, but it's closed now because no one goes there. If you want to see it, I can take you tomorrow. It seemed that was the only option. After all, the Duke's household couldn't even afford newspapers. The next day arrived. An endless stream of dresses was delivered to Luo Qi's room. The young maid said these were all dresses prepared for her. Luo Qi, touching her rumbling stomach, wondered, could all this money have been spent on breakfast instead? The dress shop owner flicked her fan. You wish. There's no food before the ball. The awards ceremony and debutante ball are taking place at the same time. No young lady has ever received such an honor. I will definitely choose the most special dress for you. Luo Qi muttered, oh, thank you so much. Then a voice called out, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. Selena walked in, holding a bouquet of flowers. The flowers in this garden are so beautiful. I accidentally stepped on a bunch. The shop owner, looking at the beautiful Selena, was clearly starstruck, as expected of the heroine's aura. Luo Qi silently thought, I need to block this. She mentally raised her paw to shield herself from the natural light radiating from the heroine. All right, take off your clothes. As the best dressmaker in the empire, I will make sure you two become the most beautiful young ladies in the empire. As the shop owner's voice rang out, they began a busy day of changing clothes. By now, the two of them were beyond exhausted. The shop owner sighed, I haven't even gotten started yet. The awards ceremony and the ball are in 3 days. If only there were more time, I could do even better. Looking at the energetic shop owner, Luo Qi couldn't help but retort, if you try to prepare any more, I might actually end up in a coffin. The shop owner, not hearing clearly, asked curiously, what did you say, dear? Luo Qi, afraid of another round of dress-up, quickly offered a stream of compliments. The flattered shop owner beamed. Luo Qi took the opportunity to bring up her request to wear the emperor's gifted ornament at the banquet. The shop owner balked, but that ornament is too simple. It doesn't fit the grandeur of the occasion. Luo Qi still wanted to try. It's very important to me. The shop owner still wanted to refuse. Even if it's important, it still needs to be appropriate for the occasion. Luo Qi looked at the ornament, lost in thought. She felt that no matter what she did, the shop owner wouldn't agree. Suddenly, she saw the flower garland on the table. An idea struck her. She put the garland on her head. Instantly, she transformed into a mesmerizing flower elf. She appeared before them. When Luo Qi transformed into an elf, she not only received praise from the heroine, but also a collaboration offer. The sight before them was stunning. Is this a gift from nature? It's perfect. Yes, this is exactly the feeling I want. Natural, elegant, and yet so avant-garde. It's a miracle. Looking at the excited shop owner, Luo Qi knew she had succeeded. The shop owner excitedly offered Luo Qi a collaboration. Luo Qi smiled and agreed. Both of them smelled the sweet scent of money. Luo Qi suddenly remembered she needed chain. I need to set this sapphire. I hope you can help me make a hand chain. The material needs to be sturdy. The shop owner, smiling, assured her it would be ready in 2 days. Soon, it was mealtime. Luo Qi thought she could finally have a proper meal. But then she saw the food. Where's the meat? At this rate, I'm going to faint from malnutrition. Holding a sliver of hope, Luo Qi asked the maid when the meat dishes would be served. The maid replied that Luo Qi, as a high-ranking elf, should abstain from meat. Furthermore, the Pope has said that less meat and less alcohol is healthy. Luo Qi was helpless, but couldn't argue. Inwardly, she cursed the Pope and his followers. But this wasn't filling. After a few bites, it was gone. Luo Qi's stomach rumbled, her steps heavy. Leah told Luo Qi that after breakfast tomorrow, a maid would escort them to the palace. She hoped Luo Qi would be ready by then. Luo Qi indicated they understood. But before that, they wanted to visit the West Palace to see the Crown Prince's portrait. Leah asked if they wanted to go now. Luo Qi, thinking about how hungry they were and wanted to sneak out to buy something to eat, immediately thought of the market. Then I'll accompany you, Leah offered softly. Luo Qi, startled, quickly refused, saying it was all right and they could go see it themselves and come back. Leah seemed troubled, explaining that it was against etiquette to let a guest wander the palace alone. Just then, Selena, who had come looking for Luo Qi, interrupted. If you can't go alone, then come with me. I was just thinking of visiting Princess Isla's studio in the East Palace. Luo Qi felt even more helpless. Going with Selena wasn't very convenient either. After thinking it over, Luo Qi still wanted to refuse. We elves prefer to be alone. Let me wander around by myself. Selena, looking at the dazzling Luo Qi, immediately transformed into a devoted admirer. She nodded repeatedly, indicating her understanding. Soon, Luo Qi donned a cloak and, taking the allowance the emperor had given them, walked towards the open-air cafe. With this much money, they thought, I should be able to eat meat sandwiches until I'm full, right? Why are there so many people here? Cameras, notebooks, reporters. Luo Qi's face instantly turned pale. They turned to leave quickly, but the reporters in front of them had already spotted them. Everyone began speculating about who they were. It was the first time they had seen someone walking around the palace so freely. This could be an exclusive scoop. We can't miss this opportunity. Suddenly, a reporter blocked Luo Qi's path. Helpless, Luo Qi clutched their small hat, trying to dodge, but the reporters behind them, as if they had smelled a headline, crowded around Luo Qi. Are you an invited guest? Are you leaving the palace for something urgent? Why are you wearing a cloak? Questions bombarded Luo Qi. Luo Qi sighed, lifted their skirt, and ran. The reporters immediately sensed something was amiss. This must be big news. They all gave chase. While running, Luo Qi's hood fell off, revealing their dazzling long hair. Someone in the crowd shouted, "Lavender hair." It's the maid from the House of Carnif. The rumored maid from the House of Carnif. Luo Qi broke out in a cold sweat. If they were caught here, their reputation would be ruined. Luo Qi looked around frantically. Where could they go? Suddenly, they saw a door. Without thinking, Luo Qi ran inside. The persistent reporters followed. Fortunately, Luo Qi was quick-witted and hid behind a curtain. After a long while, when everyone had left, they emerged. Luo Qi rubbed their chafed ankle. A sharp pain shot through their foot. Today was too thrilling. I feel like I've lost 10 years of my life. But where am I? So many portraits. Is this a gallery? This is too extravagant. Suddenly, they saw a portrait that looked like the Crown Prince. This is His Highness, Crown Prince Nok Asher. He's so handsome, all grown up. But why are there so many imitation stones inlaid on the portrait? How much did this cost? Luo Qi, their face full of envy, couldn't help but reach out to touch it. With just one of these, the duchy wouldn't have to worry about food and drink, right? Unexpectedly, the diamonds suddenly clattered to the floor. Luo Qi was instantly gripped by fear. TH this. They're falling off. What do I do? Is there anything more embarrassing than damaging someone's portrait and being caught red-handed? When Luo Qi saw the portrait, they felt like the whole world was sparkling. Are all portraits in this world this extravagant? How many diamonds are inlaid in this? Just one of these would probably be enough for me to live comfortably for the rest of my life. Luo Qi unconsciously reached out to touch the portrait. However, the moment their hand touched the diamonds, they all came clattering down. Luo Qi was instantly surrounded by fear. Was the material really this cheap? Looking at the damaged portrait, Luo Qi was terrified. Could this even be glued back on? As they frantically gathered the scattered imitation diamonds, they were completely unaware of a figure approaching. A man's deep voice sounded from behind. "Who are you? What did you come in?" Luo Qi stared at the man in surprise. Knock Asher. This was it. They were done for. But wow, the crown prince was incredibly handsome. Illegally so. Suddenly, Luo Qi noticed the crown prince's gaze fall upon the imitation diamonds in their hand. "Have I caught you red-handed stealing?" Luo Qi panicked and quickly hid the imitation diamonds. "I didn't. You have to listen to my explanation." The crown prince stared impassively. "Weren't you just stealing the decorations?" Luo Qi broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly put the imitation diamonds down. "I didn't steal them. I didn't do this. I just barely touched them, and they all came clattering down." "Really?" The crown prince didn't respond, continuing to stare blankly at Luo Qi before speaking flatly. "Judging by your hair color, you're a Karnav maid, aren't you? If you're a maid from a poor family, then I can understand your motive for doing this." Luo Qi was speechless. "Your Highness, you can look down on me for being poor, but you can't doubt my character." The crown prince ignored Luo Qi's explanation. He continued, "Your expression is shifty, your breathing is rapid, and you look very defensive. More importantly, I saw you pry the gems off the portrait with my own eyes. It doesn't look like a misunderstanding." Luo Qi was about to explode. How could he say such things with such a straight face? And most importantly, he looked at them like they were an object, completely devoid of emotion. This was it. They were done for. There was no way to explain this misunderstanding. They hadn't even done anything and had already messed everything up. Having made up their mind, under the crown prince's emotionless gaze, Luo Qi knelt down. The crown prince, unable to comprehend Luo Qi's actions, asked, "What are you doing?" Luo Qi awkwardly explained, "You don't seem very happy. To save my life, I thought I'd try this to see if it would appease you." The crown prince stared at Luo Qi for a moment. "I don't feel emotions, so I don't feel unhappy." Luo Qi abruptly looked up, stunned. They had his soul fragment, yet he couldn't feel any emotions. Was the soul fragment defective? In the novel, he was clearly annoyed by Luo Qi having the fragment. Perhaps it was because this was their first meeting, so he hadn't had time to react yet. Luo Qi stood up and invited the crown prince to sit and chat. However, after they sat down, a deathly silence fell over the room. The crown prince stared blankly at Luo Qi. Luo Qi also stealthily peeked at him, feeling uncomfortable under his gaze. Luo Qi wondered if the crown prince had sensed something. However, since the crown prince remained silent, Luo Qi didn't dare to speak either. After a long while, the crown prince finally spoke. "I heard you saved His Majesty's life and were invited to the palace as royal guests." Luo Qi nodded in agreement, then listened as the crown prince continued, his expression unchanged. "And then, as a guest, you secretly snuck into a closed hall. You were trying to steal something when I happened to catch you." Luo Qi almost screamed. They had said it over and over. They hadn't stolen anything. How could he not understand? They were just startled by the sudden falling gems. The crown prince still found Luo Qi's attitude questionable, but he was willing to hear their explanation. Luo Qi was startled when the crown prince suddenly moved closer. Suddenly remembering the soul fragment in their bag, they instantly felt like they had leverage. "Your Highness, you'll regret treating me like this." The crown prince looked at Luo Qi as if they were crazy. "What nonsense are you talking about? Perhaps I should just arrest you." Luo Qi wasn't flustered. Patting their chest, they declared, "A Karnav maid would never speak nonsense. Your Highness can listen to what I have to say before making a judgment. Calm down now and examine your heart. Do you feel anything? That's the answer. Don't be surprised, Your Highness. I'm an emotions expert. I can help you feel emotions." How will Luo Qi help the crown prince feel emotions? Tune in next time to find out. The unexpected closeness made the crown prince feel an unprecedented emotion. However, he mistook this emotion for annoyance. At this moment, Luo Qi's expression was one of bewilderment. Previously, Luo Qi's baffling outburst stirred something within Crown Prince Asher. Luo Qi told him to savor that feeling, explaining it was an emotion. They believed the crown prince must be startled, though the feeling wasn't strong enough. Smiling, Luo Qi declared they could make him experience an emotion immediately. The crown prince stared at Luo Qi, making their hair stand on end. After a moment of thought, he said, "So, your strange behavior just now was to make me feel emotions. Seeing him take the bait, Luo Qi quickly pressed their advantage. Yes, I have elven blood. I can help you feel emotions. What's more, I'm the only one in the world who can do it. I'm a unique emotions expert. To Luo Qi's surprise, the Crown Prince seemed to agree, causing them to blush with excitement. However, the Crown Prince then said, "After all, this is the first time in my life that someone has tried to extort me, and so blatantly too." Luo Qi exclaimed, "I didn't. I'm not. I'm trying to make a sincere business proposition. Can't you feel it?" Panicked and feeling wronged, Luo Qi pleaded, "Your Highness, how can you be so distrustful? Even if you don't trust anyone else, you should trust me. Don't you feel something stirring within you right now? You should be able to feel an emotion that's different from usual, right?" The Crown Prince remained impassive. Luo Qi felt like giving up. This was too difficult, but they couldn't give up now. They had to convince him before he could speak again and have them arrested. But how? As Luo Qi pondered, they heard reporters' voices outside the door. These people were relentless. Luo Qi urged the Crown Prince to hide with them. The Crown Prince didn't understand why they needed to hide. Luo Qi quickly explained that the people outside were reporters, and if they were discovered, things would get complicated. Still explaining frantically, Luo Qi accidentally stepped on their skirt. They tumbled forward, falling towards the Crown Prince. With a thud, they landed in a close embrace. Both froze. The reporters, bursting in, captured the scene perfectly. This was definitely exclusive news. A Karnav made in a secret meeting with the Crown Prince. The headlines practically wrote themselves. How did you two meet? What led to your relationship? What were you planning to do here? Questions bombarded them like a flood. Thankfully, the guards arrived in time and pushed the reporters out. The two in the hall were once again enveloped in an awkward silence. Soon, a guard reported that the reporters had left. Although the reporters were barred, they certainly wouldn't give up. The guard advised the Crown Prince to move to a different location. Their intimate moment had been recorded. The Crown Prince unconsciously touched his lips where they had been brushed. He lightly touched his forehead. Just then, they heard a rumbling sound. The sound came from Luo Qi. Embarrassed, they turned away. "Your Highness, I haven't eaten anything today. There are reporters everywhere." Wouldn't it look bad if the maid who just saved His Majesty fainted from hunger? The guard's lips twitched, wanting to say something, but feeling too awkward. The Crown Prince glanced at the anxious Luo Qi and ordered his subordinates to prepare a meal. A table laden with food quickly appeared. Luo Qi happily munched on a leg of lamb. This place was a culinary paradise. Pure bliss. Watching Luo Qi's enjoyment, the Crown Prince suddenly felt a flicker of appetite himself. He picked up a piece of bread, spread some butter on it, and took a bite, surprising the maid. Luo Qi peeked at the Crown Prince's expression. Something seemed off. Such delicious bread, yet he ate it with a look of disinterest. Could the inability to feel emotions also affect taste? Luo Qi looked at the Crown Prince, his face expressionless as he ate the bread. "Do you have a sense of taste?" The Crown Prince looked perplexed. Luo Qi continued, can you try eating with the feeling you had just now? Didn't you feel it just now, when we were close? Your heartbeat sped up, your body got warm, your face flushed. The Crown Prince thought carefully for a moment. It seems so. Luo Qi beamed upon hearing him say so. Exactly. That's the feeling of your heart fluttering. However, before Luo Qi could finish, the Crown Prince said, "So that's what feeling annoyed is like." What? Luo Qi was dumbfounded, unable to believe what they had just heard. The Crown Prince continued, "When you suddenly rushed over, I felt an emotion, similar to being threatened. So that's the feeling of annoyance the maid mentioned." Luo Qi felt like they'd been struck by lightning. Luo Qi was devastated that the Crown Prince found the close contact annoying. The Crown Prince continued to elaborate. He felt intensely threatened by Luo Qi's approach. Luo Qi was completely numb. "How was I threatening you when I rushed over?" Luo Qi felt utterly wrong. The Crown Prince touched his lips. "I even saved the Emperor. Making your Highness feel emotions is a piece of cake." The Crown Prince nodded in understanding. So maids need some sort of revelation to do this. Luo Qi, thinking they had finally gotten through to him, relaxed and offered a smile. They didn't expect the Crown Prince's next words to make them want to scream. The Crown Prince calmly continued, "I initially thought you were trying to steal the jewels. Unexpectedly, you suddenly started extorting me. Then, after attempting to harm the Crown Prince, you continue to swindle me." Luo Luo Chi's smile froze. They were furious. I already said it was an accident. How did it escalate to physical assault? I was wrong too, you know. A guard, seeing Luo Chi slam the table at the Crown Prince, broke out in a cold sweat and quickly intervened. Lady Carniff, you're being too disrespectful to His Highness. Luo Chi wondered who the man was. His voice sounded familiar. It turned out to be Reynard, one of the Crown Prince's most loyal followers in the novel. But Luo Chi wasn't interested in him. Their goal was still to win over the Crown Prince. Luo Chi took a bite of the lamb leg and continued to address the Crown Prince. Your Highness, I want you to feel emotions. How can you treat me like a swindler? As your partner, I'm very hurt. Besides, isn't it because of my special ability that you felt annoyed? The Crown Prince replied, I'm not sure. According to you, magical beasts also give me that feeling. Are they also emotion specialists? Luo Chi was exasperated. The male lead was so hard to convince. Since he didn't believe them, Luo Chi had no choice but to personally intervene and let him experience true annoyance. Luo Chi turned to Leah with a slight smile. Please take me to the kitchen. Thank you. Soon, the group headed towards the kitchen. Leah was doubtful. Could Luo Chi really awaken the Crown Prince's emotions? It was hard to imagine. Leah still didn't quite believe it. They went up to the Crown Prince to confirm, wanting to know his thoughts. The Crown Prince said he would let Luo Chi try. However, if Luo Chi was lying, they would know the consequences. They soon arrived at the kitchen. As soon as Luo Chi pushed open the kitchen door, they heard sobbing from inside. It was the head chef. He was heartbroken because he felt that even though he poured his heart and soul into preparing exquisite dishes, they never received the Crown Prince's approval. He couldn't sleep night after night because of it. A group of servants surrounded him, offering comfort. Everyone understood his feelings because they felt the same way. He felt he had tried his best. Suddenly, a young maid interrupted their conversation. The young maid informed them that the Crown Prince had arrived. The kitchen staff instantly paled and quickly knelt down. Luo Chi was helpless. They just wanted to borrow the kitchen and didn't intend to cause such a commotion. The head chef trembled as he begged for the Crown Prince's forgiveness. If it was because the food wasn't to his liking, he could prepare new dishes. He pleaded with the Crown Prince not to dismiss him. The Crown Prince calmly looked at the head chef and said indifferently, "Are you mistaken? I'm here because Lady Carniff wants to use the kitchen." Hearing this, the head chef quickly apologized. It turned out he had misunderstood. Luo Chi stealthily observed the Crown Prince. They didn't know why, but they felt a hint of weariness in his voice. He must be frequently misunderstood like this. The head chef cautiously asked Luo Chi what she needed the kitchen for. Luo Chi explained that she wanted to make something for the Crown Prince to eat. The head chef quickly offered to help. Luo Chi smiled and declined, saying she would do it herself. After all, she wasn't making anything delicious. She was determined to let Nock Asher know what true annoyance felt like. The Crown Prince was curious about what Luo Chi was planning. Luo Chi asked Nock Asher if he had ever eaten anything strange. The Crown Prince replied that he hadn't. He said the food he ate tasted bad, but the food in the palace was better. Eating dishes like the ones they had just had was considered top-notch cuisine. Luo Chi thought the Crown Prince simply hadn't experienced strange food, which was why he didn't have strong opinions about it. After all, he had always had the finest dishes. Food was magical. Some foods brought happiness and joy. Some could also make people angry. So today, she would let him experience the different feelings and emotions that food could evoke. She would prove to everyone that what she said was true. Have you ever seen such a poor duke's daughter? Her brother worked hard for a month just so his sister could have a mini roast chicken on her birthday. And it was the kind they couldn't afford to put salt on. A daily feast of carrots almost turned her carrot-colored. Luo Chi never imagined that a duke's daughter would be worse off than she was in her past life. Her mother was an elf, and her father was a great hero of the empire. He was even granted the title of duke. How did things end up like this? Today was Luo Chi's birthday. The guy smiling brightly in front of her was her goofy older brother. He happily covered Luo Chi's eyes and took her hand. He led her towards a surprise party he had meticulously prepared. However, the moment the blindfold was removed, Luo Chi was stunned. What a magnificent all-vegetarian feast. Ingman really wanted to know the extent of Luo Chi's shock. Her brother, the goofball, clapped his hands excitedly. It was even more abundant than expected. It felt like he had moved all the vegetables from the garden onto the table. Looking at the wooden bucket platters on the table, Luo Chi couldn't help but question her existence. Was this really the standard of a duke's household? Suddenly, a maid pushed a platter in front of her. Luo Chi stared intently at the platter, her face full of anticipation. Her brother gently told her that this was the main dish he had carefully prepared. The moment the platter was opened, Luo Chi was stunned. It was so small. The goofy brothers started clapping again in admiration. It was actually meat. How luxurious. Luo Chi, quickly try it, he urged. Luo Chi looked at the chicken with a complicated expression. She clapped her hands and said the roast chicken looked great. After all, it was the result of her brother's month-long effort. Luo Chi silently ate the roast chicken, feeling a pang of sadness. The ancients were right. Life is a comedy from afar, but a tragedy up close. The chicken wasn't even salted. It tasted like raw chicken. One bite, and Luo Chi almost threw up. A duke's household couldn't even afford salt. Can you believe it? If anyone envied the luxurious lives of nobles, Luo Chi would definitely tell them that among the nobles born with silver spoons in their mouths, there were a few who only had titles and were actually impoverished. Like her and this goofball. A week ago, she was a poor college student in the 21st century. She envied the celebrities and nobles on TV. She never thought that in a moment she would be hit by a car and transported into the novel she was reading. Looking at the two moons hanging high in the sky, Luo Chi found it unbelievable. This was clearly a scene from a story. Luo Chi knew she had transmigrated into the book. Hearing a woman call her name, Luo Chi was shocked. She trembled as she touched her purple hair in disbelief. However, her reflection in the mirror convinced her completely. She had really become the novel's villainess, Luo Chi Kanev. But why did it have to happen on payday? Luo Chi collapsed and fainted. Luo Chi examined her beautiful face. Her pale skin set off her lavender purple hair, making her look exceptionally noble and beautiful. And those emerald green eyes, a symbol of elves. The original story described the Duke's household as incredibly wealthy, unique in the empire. But that was all when Luo Chi's parents were still alive. Those were the good times. Now, he's become the empire's poorest citizen. And it's all thanks to this guy in front of him, beaming with that dazzling smile. His older brother, Reggie, also the head of the Kanev family, and the novel's second male lead. Luo Chi didn't really feel like talking to him right now. But Reggie was so concerned, it was hard to brush him off. Reggie gripped his hand tightly, recounting how worried he'd been during the week Luo Chi was ill. He was so relieved Luo Chi was all right now. Apparently, before Luo Chi woke up in this world, he had been in a coma with a high fever for a week. Before Luo Chi could fully process anything, Reggie presented him with a beautifully wrapped gift box. Happy 20th birthday. Now you're a real lady. Luo Chi murmured his thanks and opened the gift as everyone looked on expectantly. He was actually quite curious himself. Even though the family had fallen on hard times, it was still a birthday present. Maybe some jewels or a thick wad of cash. But after opening the gift box, he was speechless. Could someone please tell him why it was a useless teddy bear? Could he eat it? Could he wear it? It would have been better to just give him some money or some sparkly trinkets. Despite his disappointment, he forced a smile and said it was lovely. Then he saw Reggie's genuinely delighted expression. Luo Chi felt his brother was truly beyond help. Seeing it was still early, Reggie wanted to take him to the forest to play. The butler listened with a weary sigh and informed him that Luo Chi had only just recovered and shouldn't go out. Then Reggie remembered he hadn't read him a storybook in a while and decided to do so today. Luo Chi really wanted to refuse, but he knew it would be more trouble than it was worth. It was easier to just accept. Luo Chi looked up at the bare walls of the house. His expression was one of resignation. Looking at his brother, clutching several large storybooks, ready to read to him, he felt even more resigned. As everyone could see, his brother was a weak-willed person. After their parents died, he was bullied by their relatives and tricked out of all their property. And because they were so poor, all the servants left the huge mansion. Only young Reggie and Luo Chi remained, along with the butler, Bart, and the maid, Verdi. But despite his current meekness, Reggie was actually a spirit master, and a high-level one at that. But he was afraid that if his identity were exposed, it would bring danger to his family. He concealed his identity and powers, becoming an ordinary mercenary. This was why fans felt so sorry for him. But right now, he was holding up two books, excitedly asking what you wanted to hear. Snow White or the black-haired witch. Luo Qi felt insulted but couldn't prove it. He deadpanned, telling Reggie to read whichever one was shorter. Reggie chose the witch's story. This made Luo Qi think of the novel's male protagonist, the Crown Prince. The original story described the emperor as ambitious and extremely covetous of land. To secure land inheritance rights, he instituted a system of polygamy and unscrupulously took wives from many other countries. But he didn't know that among his wives, there was a witch who hated him with a passion. The emperor, in his greed for land, had taken the witch as his wife, indirectly causing the death of her fiancé. To punish the heartless emperor, the witch cursed the empress's unborn child. If the crown prince couldn't learn love and compassion and become a warm person, his ruthlessness would completely consume the emperor. After casting the curse, the witch stabbed herself in the heart with a dagger and died. No one knew what curse she had cast. Later, the empress safely gave birth to the crown prince. Both mother and child were well. The crown prince was very healthy and adorable, not at all like he'd been cursed. But soon the empress noticed something was wrong. The crown prince was born without crying and never showed any emotion. The curse had taken a part of his soul. He became the emotionless male lead of the story. According to the novel's plot, the crown prince should be of marrying age now. If nothing unexpected happened, the empress should soon come to discuss marriage matters with him. In the original story, because the crown prince couldn't feel any emotions, that was severely condemned by the Holy See. Therefore, the emperor is worried sick about losing his star empress. And she, this impoverished duchess's daughter, has caught the empress's attention. The empress bribed Luo Qi to become the crown prince's fiancé. But she didn't expect that upon meeting the crown prince for the first time, Luo Qi, that would fall head over heels in love like a fool. But unfortunately, the female lead of this novel isn't her. It's Selena. Seeing the two of them together and happy, Luo Qi consciously withdrew from the novel. She's neither the villain nor a supporting character. Just a tool used at the beginning, quickly forgotten. Luo Qi thought to herself she would never be that easily forgotten tool in the novel. Using her and then leaving her destitute is going too far. To actually become the crown princess and still be so love-struck. Brains. Can love be eaten? If she became the crown princess, she'd definitely milk them dry. What man is as valuable as money? Speaking of which, what kind of person is the crown prince? She must touch his leg, see how much money she can squeeze out of him. But Reggie said that the crown prince is a very, very strong and terrifying person. Luo Qi shuddered. How is this going to work? Have you ever seen such a poor duchess's daughter, faced with high tariffs, that the most valuable thing she has is a carrot? Reggie told Luo Qi that the crown prince is an extremely powerful person. At the age of 13, he could defeat ferocious monsters. In the entire empire, only the iron-wielding saint can rival him. Even the terrifying Holy See is wary. Listening to Reggie analyze the situation, Luo Qi felt it was too difficult. It felt like she could lose her life at any moment. But the Bois de Dukedom is already in dire straits. How are she and Reggie going to survive? She's worried sick about this family, while this goofy older brother only thinks about telling her fairy tales. They even have afternoon tea. She's about to get hypoglycemia. She desperately needs sweet snacks to cleanse her soul. But why are carrots being served again? Where's the promised afternoon tea? Why is it plain water? Reggie was already munching away happily. Seeing Luo Qi hadn't touched anything, he encouraged her to try it, saying it was delicious. It's her birthday, and Verdi carefully selected them. Luo Qi picked up a carrot and took a bite. Regardless, it was prepared for her. She should accept this kindness. Thinking this, she munched on the carrot. Fortunately, the carrot was sweeter and tastier than she imagined. Seeing them eating happily, Verdi gave a happy smile. Suddenly, Verdi felt a sharp pain in her waist. Reggie realized she was overworked and felt a pang of sympathy. He wanted her to go and rest for a while. Verdi felt that this was all part of her job. She had always been happy doing it and wanted to refuse his kindness. Luo Qi interrupted. She understood poor people too well. For poor people, getting sick is the most heartbreaking and painful thing. Money is everything. They live without support. Even if they get sick, they have no money to go to the hospital. They can only rely on painkillers and endure it silently alone. Now that she's finally started a new life, and she has family who care about her, how could she let them be like her past self? Luo Qi pushed Verdi to go back and rest, ordering her not to refuse, using her authority as the Duchess's daughter. For her and Reggie, Verdi and the butler are like family. Verdi has worked alone in this declining family for so long, it's really not easy for her to have persevered. She must have suffered enough from poverty, just like Luo Qi had. She can't do nothing. She has to find a way to escape poverty. It seems this is the only way. Since the Crown Prince's soul fragment is the core material of the novel and the female lead's divine assistance to success, she must obtain it. As long as she has the soul fragment, she can make the Crown Prince feel emotions. She has to make good use of this. Only in this way can she ensure the safety of the dukedom. At the same time, the Empress ordered someone to send a letter to the Kanev dukedom. Upon receiving the invitation, Reggie went to the imperial palace. The Empress stated directly that she could help the dukedom repay all its debts on the condition that Luo Qi become the Crown Prince's fiancé. As long as Reggie agreed to his conditions, he could help the dukedom revive. Meanwhile, back at the dukedom, Luo Qi knew the Empress had summoned Reggie, definitely to discuss the engagement. Although Reggie looked like he was about to cry when he was called away, pitiful and all, after visiting the imperial palace, he immediately rushed to the temple territory. This meant he didn't have much time left. The Aid storyline was about to begin. He had to leave immediately and find the capital to start his business. The sooner he found it, the sooner he could escape poverty. The Crown Prince's feelings would have to wait. In the novel, Selena stumbled upon a blue bead while strolling along the Rockingham seashore. It was a soul fragment of the Crown Prince's emotions. At that time, she also coincidentally saved the emperor, who almost got swept away by the waves. Thus, Selena, for her meritorious service, received a handsome reward and a noble title. She was also invited by the emperor to attend a small gathering. It was also during this time that she met the Crown Prince, thus beginning their romantic story. So, her current mission was to find that fragment before the female lead and receive the emperor's reward. It was bound to be a very generous reward. However, the most pressing matter was how to get to Rockingham. After disguising herself, Luo Qi carried a heavy bag of carrots and prepared to leave for the temple. Getting to the temple was quite convenient. It was right next to their territory. Rockingham was a bit further. She planned to figure out how to get to Rockingham after arriving there. Luo Qi bid farewell to the butler, ready to embark on her path to riches. Not long after, she arrived at the temple, but she discovered that passing through required paying a tax. But all she had were carrots. What was she supposed to do? Help! Urgent! To think the dignified daughter of an imperial duke was mocked by temple soldiers for being too poor. Who would believe it? Luo Qi had just arrived at the temple and was stopped by the guards for not having money to pay the toll. The guards listened to Luo Qi explain that her lunch was carrots and almost died laughing. So many carrots for lunch. Who would believe that? They certainly didn't. This whispering must be some kind of trickery, seeing the guards about to make trouble for her. Luo Qi was speechless, but they really were just ordinary carrots. However, the guards didn't seem to want to hear her explanation. Seeing that things were about to escalate, a man approached them. The man was Baron Harris. Luo Qi removed her hat upon seeing the man. Everyone was startled when they saw her face. Emerald green eyes and lavender hair undoubtedly proved she was the Kanev Duchess. Baron Harris sighed. The guards were panicking. They had actually offended the Duchess. Fortunately, the Baron pleaded for them. Otherwise, they would be done for. Luo Qi held out the carrots to the Baron and said she wanted to go to Rockingham and hoped the Baron could help her. Unexpectedly, the Baron said he was also broke and couldn't help. Seeing this, Luo Qi quickly said that riding in a cargo carriage would be fine too. Who could refuse such a dazzling duchess? Finally, the Baron agreed to find a cargo cart for her to Rockingham. Luo Qi gave him a bright smile. She would definitely repay this favor. Soon, the Baron found a spacious cargo cart for her. After offering a carrot as a token of gratitude, Luo Qi boarded the carriage and departed. The Baron looked at the departing carriage, then at the carrot in his hand, and couldn't help but laugh. 3 days later, Luo Qi arrived in Rockingham. When she said goodbye to the merchant, she offered another carrot. There was no other way. All she had left were carrots. After thanking the merchant, Luo Qi prepared to head to the Emerald Sea. In the original story, Selena found the soul fragment on this beach. However, she was hesitant now. This was the private land of the Earl of Venice. The female leads Selena's childhood friend. That's why Selena could stroll along the beach and pick up the fragment without worry of being discovered. But she was different. If she trespassed, she would be caught. But she couldn't worry about that now. This was the capital for her business. She couldn't do without it. Thinking to herself, Luo Qi trudged onward. She had to find the soul fragment before Selena. Suddenly, a long spear pressed against the back of her head. She had been discovered. What terrible luck. Selena was never discovered. Was that the heroine's halo? Freeze. Before long, Luo Qi was escorted to the guard camp. She briefly explained to them that she was at the Emerald Sea looking for a lost item. The guard looked awkwardly at Luo Qi, who was munching on a carrot. Seeing this, Luo Qi, thinking he wanted some, pulled out a carrot and offered it to him. She explained that it was a carrot from their territory. The guard, his face flushed, accepted the carrot and thanked her. Just then, a female voice called out from behind them. The newcomer was Jane, the daughter of the Earl of Venice, owner of the Emerald Sea. After exchanging greetings, Jane invited Luo Qi to her castle. Looking at the table laden with exquisite pastries, Luo Qi's eyes widened. This was the best meal she'd had since arriving in this world. It was so delicious she could eat it all. Jane, seeing Luo Qi enjoying the food, teased, "You didn't sneak onto our seashore just for these treats, did you?" Luo Qi choked on her tea. Just as she was about to explain that no, she hadn't, Jane chuckled and said, "You're looking for something by the sea, aren't you? I can invite you to go. However, there are guests there now. You can go tomorrow." Luo Qi immediately guessed it was the emperor and his mistress. This was also the time when Selena found the soul fragment. She couldn't wait. She had to find it before the heroine. But right now, getting there would be difficult. Jane refused her request to go now. Luo Qi knew there was nothing she could do. After all, who would dare offend the emperor? Luo Qi didn't press the matter. "Your chef is amazing. This is so delicious." Seeing how much Luo Qi enjoyed it, Jane offered her another serving. Luo Qi thought this woman was an angel. She prayed that this little angel would have less work and more money in the future. Just then, someone walked in. It was Selena, the heroine of the novel. She had red hair, pumpkin-colored eyes, and a delicate, languid face. Having read the original work, Luo Qi recognized her instantly. If you made it this far, give this video a like. Selena had never seen anyone so beautiful. Luo Qi, having inherited elven blood, was truly stunning. What ethereal beauty. Luo Qi understood Selena's reaction. This celestial beauty was thanks to her elven ancestors. But this wasn't the time to think about that. She had to get her hands on the soul fragment. Luo Qi sighed as she ate her pastries. Seeing Luo Qi's serious expression, Selena immediately said, "I know a way to sneak in. I was planning to go tomorrow, but if you want to go, I can take you." Luo Qi froze. So that's when Selena found the soul fragment. Luo Qi looked at Selena expectantly. "I lost a blue gemstone while walking by the sea today. Could you help me look for it?" Selena smiled brightly. She would be happy to. They agreed to go first thing in the morning. The next day, while it was still dark and Luo Qi was still asleep, Selena snuck in her room and woke her up. Luo Qi was startled, but quickly got ready and went with her to the seashore. Soon at the seashore, Luo Qi saw that the seashore, heavily guarded yesterday, was unguarded today. Was this the legendary heroine's halo? Looking at Selena, who was excitedly helping her search for the blue gemstone, Luo Qi suddenly felt a pang of envy. Suddenly, Luo Qi remembered something. She warned Selena, "If you find the gem, don't pick it up. Just call me over." If the heroine touched the gem, she might just get it for free. Who knew what other bugs were lurking around? The weather is terrible today. The Emperor's boating accident from the book, it should be today, right? It'd be weird if a boat didn't capsize in this weather. That Emperor really is a fool. Sure enough, the heroine's halo took effect. It didn't take long for her to find the blue gemstone. Luo Qi carefully picked up the gem. She hadn't expected it to be so small. But in any case, she had finally found it. Perfect. Luo Qi quickly pocketed the blue gemstone. Her future was sure to be bright from now on. Selena looked at Luo Qi's excited face. "Did you find it?" Luo Qi smiled at her. "I did." Selena was overjoyed. Suddenly, she noticed something in the distance. Luo Qi guessed it was the Emperor's boating accident scene. She gave a very indifferent wow. Selena found it unbelievable. Someone's boating in this weather. Luo Qi looked unconcerned. Otherwise, why would I call him a fool? Selena watched the struggling boat. At this rate, it's going to capsize. Luo Qi munched on a carrot. It probably will. As soon as she finished speaking, the boat flipped over. Luo Qi glanced at it indifferently and shoved Selena forward. You should go save the emperor. Selena froze. What? The emperor fell into the sea. Yes, go and see. Luo Qi took another bite of her carrot, watching Selena rush towards the sea. Luo Qi thought the carrots from her estate were really delicious. She already had the crown prince's soul fragment. She'd leave the exquisite flavor of saving the emperor for Selena. Soon, the knights arrived belatedly. They saw the scene of Selena and Luo Qi saving the emperor and the empress. Luo Qi saw them and hurried forward, explaining, just now, the waves were too high and the boat capsized. It's thanks to Selena that the emperor was saved. Watching the murmuring crowd, Luo Qi knew it was done. The emperor was indebted. The emperor loudly praised Selena's heroic rescue. He wanted to bestow upon Selena the title of Viscount as a token of his gratitude, and he invited them to the imperial palace. Luo Qi thought to herself, it seems I'm going to meet the crown prince. The emperor suddenly stared at Luo Qi thoughtfully. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've seen a Kanev palace maid. All of 20 years old. Luo Qi gave a slight curtsy. The emperor laughed heartily. Already a proper young lady. After you arrive at the imperial city, I shall bestow upon you a suitable gift. Luo Qi bowed again, thinking to herself, I don't want gifts. Just give me the cash equivalent. And so, they boarded the royal carriage. They ate expensive pastries on their way to the imperial palace. Selena looked at Luo Qi, who seemed to be in a good mood. She couldn't help but marvel at how adaptable a palace maid could be. She still couldn't believe she had suddenly become a viscount. She had simply listened to Luo Qi and saved the people in the sea. Luo Qi felt a bit helpless. The original plot had changed because of her interference. But could she say that? According to the original plot, Selena should have jumped into the sea to save them herself. But now she had been pushed. Luo Qi, regaining her composure, offered Selena a pastry. Perhaps this is fate. There's nothing to worry about. We're going to receive rewards. Shouldn't we be thinking about how to milk them dry? Suddenly realizing she'd misspoken, she corrected herself. That's not right. I mean, we should just enjoy the moment. Selena couldn't help but chuckle. You're right. And so, the two arrived comfortably at the imperial palace. Don't touch my little bag. Even though it's ugly and dirty, I love it very much. Speaking of the last episode, Luo Qi and Selena arrived at the imperial palace for a short stay. As soon as they arrived, 2 rows of servants were already waiting there. Seeing them, the servants stepped forward and bowed. Judging from their appearance, they explained that as the emperor's benefactors, the emperor had specifically ordered them to arrange 2 rooms previously occupied by royalty for their stay. During their stay, they would be provided with clothes from the capital's most renowned clothing stores, and their living expenses would be quite generous. Luo Qi, looking around, suddenly became interested. Did this mean they would be given money? The chamberlain confirmed it. Not only would they receive money for maintaining a respectable appearance, but there would also be an additional bonus. Hearing about the bonus, both of their eyes lit up. Thank you for your majesty's grace. The chamberlain arranged for Selena to stay in the rose room. Luo Qi was to stay in the starlight room. Luo Qi looked around the room curiously. This room has so many windows. The heating bill must be very expensive. But the royal family certainly doesn't have to worry about that. Just then, someone approached from behind. It was a servant sent from the Lei Palace to attend to Luo Qi. During your stay, Luo Qi, I will serve you according to the royal family standards. First, let's deal with this dirty thing. The servant, Lei, took Luo Qi's bag with a look of disgust. Seeing that the bag was about to be thrown away, Luo Qi broke out in a cold sweat and snatched the bag back, clutching it protectively. No, this is all very important. The soul fragments are still inside. Lei was startled by the sudden movement. Is there something important in this bag? Luo Qi hugged the small bag tightly. Yes, it's very important, but she hadn't brought any other bags. Lei expressed understanding and immediately arranged for a young maid to bring a pile of exquisite bags for Luo Qi to choose from. Luo Qi looked at the bags with longing. Finally, she chose a floral bag. Lei looked at Luo Qi's unfashionable attire and sighed inwardly. His Highness the Crown Prince has returned. Many people will be watching your attire as a member of the royal family. You must pay extra attention to what you wear. Luo Qi felt embarrassed. Was she being criticized for dressing too shamefully? Soon, after being attended to by the maids, Luo Qi finally looked like a proper noble lady. The young maids looked at the transformed Luo Qi, their faces full of excitement. This is so beautiful. Elf blood is truly different. Purple hair is so mysterious. It goes so well with this silver headband. Such a beautiful lady, and we got to dress her. We love it. Just then, 2 knocks sounded at the door. A young maid walked in, carrying the emperor's reward. Luo Qi looked at the bag, her heart pounding with excitement. This bag must contain the money for living expenses. There should be a lot of money, right? After all, it's from the emperor. He wouldn't just give me a little pocket money, would he? Lei opened the first box and introduced it to Luo Qi. This is a very popular hair ornament among young noble ladies these days. Luo Qi looked at the object, which resembled a tourist souvenir. What is this? It looks like flower petals glued together. I really don't understand why the artisans would go to all that trouble. Outwardly, she still had to pretend to like it. Luo Qi put the flower hairpin on her head with feigned delight. Unexpectedly, with a flick of her hand, the hairpin fell. The young maid stared wide-eyed at the fallen hairpin. The expression on Luo Qi's face turned pale. With a clatter, everyone's faces drained of color. This was a gift from the emperor, and it was broken. What should they do? Waiting online, so anxious. Everyone who's watching, tap the screen to support Luo Qi. Luo Qi felt that things were not looking good. Do you think they will escape this predicament? When Luo Qi transforms into an elf, the entire palace will be captivated. Previously, the emperor's gift shattered into pieces. Luo Qi felt like she was doomed. Fortunately, the petals were undamaged. Luo Qi suddenly had a bold idea. She asked the maids to gather the petals. She undid her newly styled hair. The maids wondered what she was doing. Luo Qi told them to watch carefully. In a short while, a Luo Qi, as beautiful and ethereal as an elf, appeared before everyone. Luo Qi, seeing their awestruck gazes, began to improvise. She told them that this was an elven adornment, a representation of purity in nature. The young maids listened with admiration. As everyone chattered excitedly, Lei came to remind Luo Qi that it was time to leave. He was going to take her on a tour of the palace. Just then, Selena appeared. As expected of a female lead, her aura was truly something else. What was with that radiant glow? The entire palace garden seemed to shimmer. The palace is crowded. Lei said it's the social season. There are many people day and night. Luo Qi stared at the square, full of blonde men, breaking out in a cold sweat. How could she find a crown prince among so many blondes? Suddenly, she overheard some women discussing the crown prince. What was going on? They were saying this banquet was being held to find a crown princess. Shouldn't the empress have already settled the engagement with Reggie by now? The plot had changed again. Was it because she went to Rockingham and missed something? Oh dear, what if the crown prince met both her and Selena? How would the story unfold then? Although she had the soul fragment, there was a scene in the original story. After Luo Qi discovered the truth, she stole it and went to find the crown prince. She believed that as long as she had the sapphire, the crown prince would fall in love with her. But the crown prince was only annoyed. Ultimately defeated and full of regret, Luo Qi returned the soul fragment to Selena. Thinking of this, Luo Qi decided she could only meet the crown prince alone. Having made up her mind, she began to look around shiftily. Selena, seeing Luo Qi acting suspiciously, asked what she was looking for. Luo Qi said she hadn't seen the crown prince yet. She'd heard he was back in the imperial city, so she wanted to see if he was here. Lei was speechless. Hadn't it been in the newspapers numerous times? Why hadn't she seen it? Luo Qi simply said she didn't read the news. Lei coughed twice and said helplessly that there was a portrait of the crown prince in the ballroom on the first floor. It was originally an open hall, but it was currently closed because no one used it. If she wanted to see it, he could take her tomorrow. It seemed that was the only option. After all, the Duke's household couldn't even afford newspapers. The next day arrived. An endless stream of dresses was brought into Luo Qi's room. The young maid said these were all prepared for her. Luo Qi, rubbing her rumbling stomach, asked if this would be over before breakfast. The dress shop owner flicked her fan. You wish. There's no food before the ball. The awards ceremony and debutante ball are being held at the same time. No young lady has had this honor yet. I'll be sure to pick the most special dress for you. Luoqi muttered, "Oh, thank you so much. Oh, sorry I'm late." Selena walked in, holding a bouquet of flowers. The flowers in the garden are so beautiful. I accidentally picked some. The shop owner, staring at the beautiful Selena, was practically drooling. As expected of the heroine's aura. I need to block this. Luo-Chi silently raised her hand. All right, block the natural light radiating from the heroine. Now, take off your clothes. As the best dressmaker in the Empire, I'll make sure you two are the most beautiful young ladies in the Empire. As the shop owner's voice rang out, they began a busy day of changing clothes. By now, the two of them were beyond exhausted. The shop owner sighed, "I haven't even gotten started yet. The awards ceremony and ball are in 3 days. If it weren't for the tight schedule, I could do even better." Luo-Chi, looking at the energetic shop owner, couldn't help but retort, "If you prepare any more, I might be in my coffin." The shop owner, not hearing clearly, asked curiously, "What did you just say, miss?" Luo-Chi, fearing a repeat performance, quickly offered a stream of compliments. The flattered shop owner beamed. Luo-Chi took the opportunity to request to wear the emperor's gifted accessory at the banquet. "But miss, that accessory is too simple. It doesn't quite fit the grandeur of the occasion." Luo-Chi still wanted to try. It was important to her. The shop owner still wanted to refuse. Even if it's important, it still needs to suit the occasion. Luo-Chi looked at the shop owner, lost in thought. She felt that no matter what she did, the shop owner wouldn't agree. Suddenly, she saw the flower garland on the table. An idea struck her. She put the garland on her head. Instantly, a lost flower elf appeared before them. When Luo-Chi transformed into an elf, she not only received Selena's praise, but also a collaboration offer. The sight was breathtaking. Is this the gift of nature? It's perfect. Yes, this was the feeling she wanted. Natural, elegant, and yet avant-garde. It was a miracle. Watching the excited proprietress, Rock knew he had succeeded. The proprietress excitedly extended a cooperative invitation to Rock. Rock smiled and agreed. Both simultaneously smelled the scent of money. Rock suddenly remembered he needed a chain for the sapphire. He hoped the proprietress could help him get a custom-made bracelet, and the material had to be sturdy. The proprietress smiled and promised to have it ready for him in 2 days. Soon it was mealtime. He thought he could finally have a good meal. But where was the meat? At this rate, he would definitely faint from malnutrition. Holding a sliver of hope, Rock asked the servant girl when his meat dish would be served. The servant girl replied that Rock, as a high-ranking elven palace maid, should stay away from meat. Moreover, the Pope also said that less meat and less alcohol was healthy. Rock was helpless, but couldn't say anything. Inwardly, he cursed the Pope and that whole gang. But this wasn't filling at all. After just a few bites, it was gone. Roche's stomach rumbled with hunger, and his steps became heavy. Late, he told Rock that he would send a servant girl to bring him to the palace after breakfast tomorrow and hoped he would be prepared by then. Rock indicated he understood. But before that, he wanted to visit the West Palace to see the Crown Prince's portrait. Lei asked him if he wanted to go now. Rock, thinking he was starving and wanted to sneak out to buy something to eat, immediately replied, "Back to the market." "Then I'll accompany you," Lei said indifferently. Rock was startled and quickly refused, saying it was all right. He would just go and look around and come back. Lei seemed troubled. Letting a guest wander around the palace alone was against etiquette. Just then, Selena, who had come looking for Rock, interrupted him. "If you can't go alone, then come with me. I also want to visit Princess Aira's workshop in the East Palace." Rock was even more helpless. Going with Selena wasn't very convenient either. After thinking for a moment, Rock still wanted to refuse. "We elves prefer to be alone. Let me wander around by myself." Selena, looking at the dazzling Rock, immediately transformed into a little fangirl. She nodded repeatedly, indicating she understood. Soon, Rock donned a cloak and took the spending money the Emperor had given him. Walking on the road towards the open-air cafe, he thought, with this much money, I should be able to eat meat-filled sandwiches until I'm full, right? Why are there so many people here? Cameras, notebooks, reporters. Roche's face instantly turned grim. He turned around, preparing to leave quickly, but the sharp-eyed reporters still spotted him. Everyone began speculating about his identity. It was the first time they had seen someone walking around the palace so freely. This could be an exclusive scoop. They couldn't miss this opportunity. Suddenly, a reporter stopped in front of Rock, blocking his path. Helpless, Rock clutched his small hat, trying to dodge. But the reporters behind him, as if they had smelled the scent of a headline, swarmed towards Rock. "Are you an invited guest? Are you in a hurry to leave the palace? Why are you wearing a cloak?" Questions bombarded Rock. Rock sighed. lifted his skirt, and ran. The reporters behind him immediately sensed something fishy. This had to be big news. They all started chasing after him. While running, Roche's cloak hood fell off, revealing his dazzling long hair. Shouts erupted from the crowd. Lavender hair. It's the Karnav Palace maid. The legendary Karnav Palace maid. Rock broke out in a cold sweat. If they caught him here, thought his reputation would be ruined. Rock looked around frantically. Where could he go? Where could he go? Suddenly, he saw a door. Without thinking, Rock ran inside. But the reporters didn't give up. They all chased after him. Fortunately, Rock reacted quickly and hid behind a curtain. After a long time, when everyone had left, he emerged from behind the curtain. Rock rubbed his chafed ankle. A sharp pain shot through his foot. Today was too thrilling. He felt like he had aged 10 years. Where's this place? So many portraits. I wonder if they use straws here. This is way too extravagant. Suddenly, he saw a portrait that looked like the Crown Prince. This is His Highness, Crown Prince Nork-Asher. He's so handsome, all grown up. But is it really necessary to encrust a portrait with so many gems? How much did this cost? Roche's face was full of envy. He couldn't resist reaching out to touch it. Just one of these, and the Duke's mansion wouldn't have to worry about food or drink ever again. He didn't expect the diamonds to suddenly clatter to the floor. Rock was instantly consumed by fear. They fell off. What do I do? Everyone, tap the screen and help Rock think. What's more embarrassing than ruining someone's portrait and being caught red-handed? When Rock saw the portrait, he felt like the whole world was sparkling. Are all portraits in this world this extravagant? How many diamonds are encrusted in this thing? Just one of these would probably be enough for him to live comfortably for the rest of his life. Rock unconsciously reached out to touch the portrait. However, the moment his hand touched the diamonds, they all clattered to the floor. Rock was instantly consumed by fear. Are the materials really this shoddy? Looking at the ruined portrait, Rock was terrified. Can this even be fixed? As he frantically tried to gather the scattered diamonds, he was completely unaware of a figure approaching him. A man's deep voice sounded behind him. Who are you? When did you get in here? Rock looked at the man in front of him in shock. Nork-Asher. Was this the end for him? Wow, the Crown Prince is so handsome. Illegally handsome. Suddenly, Rock noticed the Crown Prince's gaze fall upon the diamonds in his hand. Were you stealing these decorations? And I just caught you red-handed. Rock was so scared he quickly hid them. No, let me explain. The Crown Prince stared at him with an impassive face. Weren't you just stealing the jewels from the portrait? Rock was drenched in cold sweat. He quickly put the diamonds down. I didn't steal them. I didn't do this. I just barely touched them, and they all just fell off. Really? The Crown Prince didn't respond to Roche's words. He continued to look at Rock calmly. In a very flat tone, he said, "Judging by the color of your hair, you're a Karnav Palace maid. If you're from a poor family, then I can understand your motivation." Rock was speechless. "Your Highness, you can look down on me for being poor, but you can't doubt my character." The Crown Prince ignored Roche's explanation. He continued to present his evidence. "Your expression is shifty, your breathing is rapid, and you look very defensive. More importantly, I saw you pry the gems off the portrait with my own eyes. It doesn't look like a misunderstanding." Rock was about to explode with frustration. How could he say such things with such a straight face? And most importantly, the way he looked at him, like he was looking at an object without a trace of emotion. Was this the end? He couldn't think of any way to explain this misunderstanding. He hadn't even done anything, and he'd already messed everything up. Having made up his mind, under the Crown Prince's impassive gaze, Rock knelt down. The Crown Prince, unable to comprehend Roche's actions, asked, "What are you doing?" Rock awkwardly explained, "You don't seem very happy. To save my life, I thought I'd try this to see if it would calm you down." The Crown Prince stared at Rock for a moment, then said flatly, "I don't feel emotions, so I don't feel unhappy." Rock abruptly looked up, stunned. He held a fragment of the Crown Prince's soul, but he couldn't feel any emotions. Was the soul fragment defective? In the novel, he was clearly annoyed by Rock holding the fragment. Could it be because this was their first meeting, so he hadn't had time to react yet? Rock stood up and invited the Crown Prince to sit and talk. However, after they sat down, a deathly silence fell over them. The Crown Prince stared at Rock with an expressionless face. Rock also secretly glanced at him. Rock was starting to feel uncomfortable under his gaze. Had the Crown Prince sensed something? However, the Crown Prince didn't speak, and neither did Rock. After a long while, the Crown Prince finally spoke, his voice flat. "I heard you save His Majesty's life and were invited to the palace as honored guests of the royal family." Rock nodded, confirming it was true. Then, the Crown Prince continued, his face still impassive. "And then, you, as an honored guest, secretly snuck into the closed hall. You were about to steal something when I just happened to discover you." Rock almost fainted. "I told you, he wasn't stealing. He wasn't stealing. Why can't you understand?" He was just startled because the gems suddenly fell off. The Crown Prince still found Roche's attitude suspicious, but he was willing to hear Roche's explanation. Rock, looking at the Crown Prince suddenly approaching, was startled, suddenly thinking of the soul fragment in his bag. He instantly felt like he had the Crown Prince's weakness in his grasp. "Your Highness, you'll regret treating me like this." The Crown Prince looked at Rock as if he were a lunatic. "What nonsense are you talking about? It seems I should just arrest you." Rock, hearing this, didn't panic. He patted his chest and said, "A Karna Palace maid would never speak nonsense. Your Highness can listen to me finish before making a judgment. Calm down now. Examine your heart. Do you feel anything? That's the answer. Don't be surprised, Your Highness. I'm an emotions expert. I can help you feel emotions." How will Rock help the Crown Prince feel emotions? Quietly tune in next episode to find out. The unexpected close contact made the Crown Prince feel an unprecedented emotion. However, he took this emotion as a sign of annoyance. At this moment, Roche's expression was blank. Last episode, Roche's inexplicable rambling caused a slight ripple in the Crown Prince's heart. Rock told him to savor that feeling, that it was emotion. Surely the Crown Prince must be shocked right now. But that wasn't strong enough. Rock smiled and said he could make the Crown Prince feel emotions immediately. The Crown Prince stared at Rock without saying a word. Rock felt his hair stand on end under his gaze. The Crown Prince thought for a moment, then said, "So your inexplicable behavior just now was to make me feel emotions." Seeing him take the bait, Rock quickly promoted himself. "Yes. Elven blood flows through me. I can help you feel emotions. And I'm the only one in the world who can do it. I'm a one-of-a-kind emotions expert." Unexpectedly, the Crown Prince actually agreed with him. Rock blushed with excitement. Unexpectedly, the Crown Prince then said, "After all, this is the first time in my life that someone has tried to extort me. And so blatantly, too." Rock exclaimed, "No, I didn't. I'm so sincerely trying to do business with you. Can't you feel it?" Rock panicked, feeling very wrong. "Your Highness, how can you be so distrustful? Even if you don't trust anyone else, you should trust me. Don't you feel something stirring right now? You should be able to feel emotions that are different from usual, right?" The Crown Prince remained indifferent. Rock felt like he was about to tell the truth. This was too difficult. No, he couldn't give up just like this. He had to convince the Crown Prince before he spoke again and had him arrested. But how could he do that? While Rock was thinking, he suddenly heard the voices of reporters coming from outside the door. These people were really persistent. Rock quickly urged the Crown Prince to hide with him. The Crown Prince didn't understand why he needed to hide. Rock quickly explained that the people outside were reporters. If they were discovered, things would become very troublesome. Rock was still anxiously explaining when he accidentally stepped on his skirt. He tumbled towards the Crown Prince. With a thud, the two of them ended up in a close embrace. Both were momentarily stunned. However, this scene was captured perfectly by the reporters who had barged in. This was definitely exclusive news. A Karna Palace maid and the Crown Prince in a secret meeting. This headline was simply too explosive. How did the two of you meet? What was the opportunity that led to the two of you becoming lovers? What were you two planning to do here? Questions, like a flood, surged towards the pair. Fortunately, the guards appeared in time and pushed the reporters out the door. The two people in the hall fell into a mysterious silence once again. After a while, the guards came to report that the reporters had all left. Although the reporters were barred from entering, they certainly wouldn't give up. The guards suggested that the Crown Prince should change locations. The intimate actions of the two had already been recorded. The Crown Prince unconsciously reached up and touched his lips where they had just been touched. He lightly touched his forehead. Just then, the two heard a rumbling sound. The sound came from Rock. Rock was a little embarrassed. Turning away from the Crown Prince, he said, "I haven't eaten anything today. There are reporters everywhere. If word gets out that the palace maid who just saved His Majesty fainted from hunger, wouldn't that look bad?" The guard's lips twitched, wanting to say something but feeling awkward. The Crown Prince glanced at the anxious Rock and ordered his subordinates to prepare a meal. A table full of food was quickly set. Rock held a lamb leg, happily munching away. This place is a culinary paradise. This is pure bliss. The Crown Prince stared at the delighted Rock and suddenly felt a flicker of appetite. He picked up a slice of bread and dipped it in butter. Under the servant girl's surprised gaze, he took a bite. Rock peeked at the Crown Prince's expression. How strange. Such delicious bread. Yet he eats it as if he has no appetite. Could it be that not feeling emotions also affects taste? Rock watched the Crown Prince eating bread with an impassive face. "Do you have a sense of taste?" The Crown Prince looked bewildered. Rock continued, can you try eating with the feeling you had just now? When we were close just now, didn't you feel something? A racing heart, your body getting warm, your face flushing? The Crown Prince thought carefully. It seems so. Rock beamed upon hearing his confirmation. Exactly. That's the feeling of excitement. However, before he could finish, he heard the Crown Prince say, "So that's what feeling annoyed feels like." What? Rock was stunned. Had he heard correctly? The Crown Prince continued, "When you suddenly rushed at me, I felt an emotion, similar to being threatened. That must be what the palace maid meant by feeling annoyed." Rock felt like he'd been struck by lightning. The fact that the Crown Prince found the embrace annoying was devastating to Rock. The Crown Prince continued to express his discomfort about Roche's approach. He felt he had been significantly threatened. Rock was completely numb. "How was I threatening you when I rushed over?" Rock felt incredibly wronged. The Crown Prince touched his lips, still in disbelief. Had he truly experienced emotions? Seeing his doubt, Rock sighed. "I assure you, it's all real. I have elven blood running through me. I even saved the Emperor. Making your Highness feel emotions is a piece of cake for me." The Crown Prince nodded in understanding. So the palace maid received some sort of divine revelation that allowed her to do these things. Rock, thinking he had finally gotten through, relaxed and gave him a smile. He didn't expect the Crown Prince's next words, which made him want to scream. The Crown Prince calmly continued, "I initially thought you were trying to steal the gems, but then you suddenly started blackmailing me. Then you attempted to harm the Crown Prince and continued to deceive me." Roche's smile froze. He was furious. "I already said it was an accident. How did this escalate to physical assault? I'm the one who's been wronged." Seeing Rock slam the table in front of the Crown Prince, the guard broke out in a cold sweat and quickly intervened. "Miss Karnov, you are being disrespectful to His Highness." Rock wondered who the man was. His voice sounded familiar. It was Reynard, one of the Crown Prince's most loyal followers in the novel. But Rock wasn't interested. His goal was still to win over the Crown Prince. Rock took a bite of the lamb leg and continued, "Your Highness, I want you to experience emotions. How can you treat me like a liar? As your partner, I'm very hurt. Besides, the reason you felt annoyed was because of my special ability." The Crown Prince replied, "I can't be certain. By your logic, monsters also give me that feeling. Does that mean they're also emotion experts?" Rock was exasperated. The Crown Prince was proving difficult to convince. There was no other way. Since he didn't believe him, Rock would have to show him personally. He would let him experience true annoyance. Rock turned and smiled faintly at Selena. "Could you please take me to the kitchen?" "Thank you." Soon, the group headed towards the kitchen. Selena was doubtful. Could Rock really awaken the Crown Prince's emotions? It was hard to imagine. She still didn't quite believe it. She approached the Crown Prince, seeking confirmation and wanting to know his thoughts. The Crown Prince said Rock could try, but if it was a trick, Rock would pay the price. They soon arrived at the kitchen. Rock had just pushed open the kitchen door when they heard sobbing from inside. It was the head chef. He was heartbroken because he felt that even though he poured his heart and soul into his dishes, he couldn't gain the Crown Prince's approval. He hadn't been able to sleep for nights. A group of servants surrounded him, trying to comfort him. They understood his feelings because they felt the same way. He felt he had tried his best. Suddenly, a young servant girl's voice interrupted their conversation. She told them that the Crown Prince had arrived at the kitchen. Everyone instantly turned pale with fright and hastily knelt down. Rock felt helpless. They only wanted to borrow the kitchen, not cause such a commotion. The head chef trembled as he begged the crown prince's forgiveness. If it was because the food wasn't to his liking, he could prepare something new. He pleaded with the crown prince not to dismiss him. The crown prince looked calmly at the head chef and said indifferently, "Are you mistaken? I'm merely here because the Karnav Palace made wishes to use the kitchen." Upon hearing this, the head chef quickly apologized. It turned out he had misunderstood. Rock stealthily observed the crown prince. They couldn't help but feel that his voice held a hint of weariness. He must be frequently misunderstood like this. The head chef cautiously asked Rock what they needed the kitchen for. Rock replied that they wanted to make something for the crown prince to eat. The head chef immediately offered his assistance. Rock smiled and declined, saying they would do it themselves. After all, what they were making wasn't exactly delicious. They were determined to let Nork experience true displeasure. The crown prince was curious about what Rock was going to make. Rock asked Nork if he had ever eaten anything strange. The crown prince replied that he hadn't. The food he ate all tasted the same, although the food in the palace was slightly better. The dishes they had just eaten were considered delicacies. Rock thought that the reason the crown prince didn't have strong opinions about food was because he had never eaten anything unusual. He had always had the finest cuisine. Food was magical. Some dishes could bring happiness and joy. Some could also make people angry. So today, Rock was going to let him experience the different sensations and emotions that food could evoke. They would prove to everyone that what they said was true. Kala Kurosaki Maniganata Yodama. Metasto de Ida Kagastunada Kadasa. I fell in love. 30. My heart curses you. Die, you ain't no heart there. Who do? You caught down and rushy with me. Huck a million more. She's up when you come again. She's a girl I'm like when I see you. Check, please. I know a love in time. Who cares me and a horse another? Leaking in the garden, starring in the middle of the god. The sunrise, the message came out of your way. Bring it out, and off I know Donald. I think that, besides me being annoyed to death by others later. How dare you speak your mind, my dear? We must go together. Poverty alleviation without shouldering all your responsibilities, Idoga. So they can ever go to you now. You know. You're not done. That's it. None of them. I can. Can I? Let's get him. I should. Come again. Speaking about it. Whatever in the world. It's the Asian. You're the right side. My love. Decided. This is a must-see high-quality Guaman this year. The picture quality is comparable to the Korean masterpiece, Solo Leveling. So far, it has 1.56 billion views. Entertainment, disaster, all rolled into one creative style. Many netizens are calling it exhilarating. It's the comic Transcendent Evolution. The story takes place during the entrance exam for the Academy of Transcendence. Transcendent talents are divided into 5 levels from highest to lowest: White Common, Blue Spirit, Purple Soul, Red Venerable, and Black Saint. Only those who awaken Blue Spirit level talents and above can be admitted to the Academy. Everyone else has talents at the Blue Spirit level or higher. But his is the lowest White Common. Confessing to Xiaohua, he was rejected. Even riding a motorcycle, he could be struck by a meteor. Just when Mingi thought this tragic life was about to end, that he was chosen by the goddess of luck. She directly bestowed upon him the Red Venerable level Transcendent talent. But he became a vegetable, just like that, paralyzed for a year. That a sudden change occurred in Nanxing. A dung beetle from the sewer transformed into a handsome man. The hospital alarm sounded, and everyone quickly evacuated. A kind nurse remembered a student still in the ward. And hurried back to take Mingi away. But the next second, a heartwarming scene unfolded that she would never forget. A super handsome dung beetle man was gently licking his face. This scene deeply stimulated the single dog, Mingi, who woke up from his slumber. He punched the scumbag in front of him, using a set of boxing techniques he had practiced for a year in his dreams. After dealing with the dung beetle man, Mingi gratefully thanked Nurse Song for taking care of him for so long, and for not abandoning him in times of crisis. At this time, outside the ward, Nurse Song was surrounded by a large group of loyal fans. To show his masculinity, Mingi handsomely told Nurse Song, "Stay here. Don't move. I'll go buy some oranges." Hearing this, the dung beetle man instantly flew into a rage. I wanted to teach this lying man a lesson. But Mingi was no longer the weakling he once was. Possessing the Red Venerable talent and enhanced strength, the air rippled with his every punch. The dung beetle was still shocked. Why was the man in front of him so strong? Punch after punch, Mingi mercilessly ended their lives. At this moment, the last mutated cockroach lunged directly at Nurse Song, because he knew beautiful women were most afraid of cockroaches. Seeing the situation, Mingi grabbed a nearby bottle of sulfuric acid, punched it, shattering the bottle, and gathered the sulfuric acid on his fist, using a sulfuric acid fist. Just as the monster was about to bite Nurse Song, Mingi killed it. After the close call, Nurse Song praised Mingi, "You're so amazing. Is your transcendent talent fists?" But Mingi's previous white common ability was just good luck. Its only use was driving without waiting for red lights. Mocked by his classmates, Mingi was told to find a class and sit down. But now, Mingi's strength was comparable to a Heart Ashes level transcendent. At this moment, on a bridge outside the hospital, suddenly appearing mutated cockroaches blocked the last group of escaping medical staff. This incredibly handsome McCree possessed a special skill, the transcendent ability of wielding unlimited ammo. Like a savior, he came to rescue the people trapped by the mutated cockroaches. As McCree frantically fired, he easily eliminated the threat. But at this moment, a powerful aura behind him made it hard for him to breathe. A mutated Junkrat, larger than a house, suddenly appeared before him. Junkrat slapped down with one paw. McCree was seen as a snack by Junkrat. The people in the vehicle fell into despair once again. Meanwhile, Mingi, outside the city, received a message that the bridge in the southern suburbs needed support. The protective device in his head warned Mingi not to go and die. But Mingi resolutely decided to go and save the medical staff who had once cared for him. Having no more opponents, the mutated Junkrat felt bored and started playing with the people trapped in the vehicle, enjoying the fear brought on by their struggle for survival. Just as Junkrat was about to completely tear apart the vehicle, the arriving Mingi interrupted Junkrat's fun with a single punch. Looking at the small, cute mutated Junkrat, Mingi just wanted to give a hug. The enraged Junkrat directly caressed Mingi with its kawaii little claw. Seeing how much Junkrat liked him, Mingi couldn't accept such a crazy pursuer and began to dodge and flee. Finally, unable to bear Junkrat's frantic displays of affection, he seized the opportunity and unleashed a powerful blow, sending the mutated Junkrat off to sleep. Looking at the adorable sleeping Junkrat, Mingi knew it was time to end this fanatical admirer. But then, Junkrat suddenly opened its eyes. It turned out it was just cunningly playing dead. Mingi quickly turned and ran, cursing the young for their lack of martial virtue. Feeling that his small fists couldn't kill this cutie, Mingi set his sights on a nearby gas tank. He then dodged and set a trap. A moment later, the little cutie was tired from playing and was breathing heavily, resting. Mingi, from the side, pulled out a gadget he'd swiped from Old Man Wong next door. By now, the people in the vehicle had escaped safely. With a boom, a huge explosion sounded on the bridge. The little rat wondered if this person was going to roast him. Mingi gathered the power of the blazing flames in his hand. "Take this, cutie. Eat my flaming fist." The giant rat was blasted to smithereens by this punch. Afterward, the rescued people arrived at the aid station. A woman on the side shouted that she wanted to save her younger brother. This woman, who delivered Huang Menji takeout, was crying. To treat her paralyzed brother, the woman worked 3 jobs simultaneously to pay the high medical expenses. After the disaster, the hospital was quarantined by the military. The woman was heartbroken, thinking her brother had died. Mingi, standing to the side, looked at his sister with a confused expression. Seeing Mingi, the woman burst into tears of joy. In the following days, his sister continued to care for Mingi, giving him his favorite fried brand name milk. Just as Mingi was worried about how to help his sister relieve the pressure, a citywide announcement caught his attention. Kill a mutated cockroach. Reward 998. Upon hearing the news, Mingi began to fantasize about living a wealthy life with his sister. Then, Mingi put on a handsome suit and went to the bounty hall. A girl asked him what his transcendent ability was. Mingi said that he had been single for 20 years, so of course, it was his proud golden right hand. Then the girl took out a dummy and asked him to test his power. Looking at the incredibly ugly dummy in front of him, Mingi impatiently threw a punch. But this punch actually broke the dummy's chest. The panel displayed a force of 1,000 kilograms. The girl told Mingi with a horrified expression, "You've broken the 800-kilogram record. As a reward, we're giving you a 1,000 yuan shopping card." Mingi was overjoyed. "If I quickly increase my strength, I won't have to drink that cheap brand of milk anymore." Afterwards, Mingi went to the bounty hunter's gathering place. A short, chubby man asked him if he wanted to team up. But when he learned that Mingi was a trainee, a disheartened newbie, he walked away, telling him not to go and get himself killed. Just then, an old classmate spotted Mingi. Everyone had been cultivating at the Transcendent Academy for a year and were now participating in social activities. Xuejing was the same as always, mocking Mingi's transcendent ability as only being useful for buying another bottle of soda. Only the kind-hearted Lin Yuyu invited Mingi to join their team. Then the group set off for the bounty mission. According to the report, 3 types of mutated creatures had been discovered. They were mutated cockroaches, mutated roaches, and mutated troll rats. On the way, Mingi inquired about the whereabouts of Lu Qian, the school beauty he had been thinking about. But unbeknownst to them, danger was quietly approaching. This man, due to being too unlucky, was favored by the goddess of luck and evolved directly into One Punch Man. Having awakened the long-range attack, sulfuric acid fist, and the immensely powerful Flaming Fist, Mingi wanted to use these incredible abilities to earn some money. The team set off for the bounty mission location. At that moment, a giant figure attacked from behind. The two quickly dodged a punch that fell from the sky. Looking back, they saw a giant monster composed of countless mutated roaches. Mingi quickly told the others to run for their lives. As luck would have it, Lin Yuyu tripped and fell. In a moment of desperation, Mingi punched a nearby fire hydrant, transforming into the water baby from Calabash Brothers and unleashing a torrent fist. Taking advantage of the moment the roaches were scattered, the two continued to run. Mingi, having saved the girl, looked incredibly handsome and gained another admirer. After regrouping, the others feigned concern for Lin Yuyu. After Mingi bandaged her wounds, he began to inspect the surrounding environment alone. He found an anomaly report in Ecological Zone 9. It stated that an insect in Zone 9. It turned out this insect had disappeared 6 months ago. Mingi didn't think much of it and left. The careless Mingi just missed encountering the giant centipede, the suspected boss. Suddenly, Mingi noticed a familiar figure. It was Dr. Zhao, who had been in charge of him at the hospital. At that moment, Nurse Song called and invited Mingi to dinner. Mingi told her, "Women will only affect my punching speed." He then asked why Dr. Zhao was in the quarantine zone. Nurse Song told him that Dr. Zhao's behavior had been unusual for the past year. His overall condition was also poor. Once, he even lost a disaster relief serum sent from headquarters. Mingi, who had perfect scores in liberal arts, instantly deduced that this contamination was likely caused by the disaster relief serum. He realized that Dr. Zhao might be trying to make up for his mistake by searching for the source of the contamination. Mingi immediately set off to follow Dr. Zhao, tracking him to an underground water supply facility. Mingi confronted Dr. Zhao, asking if the serum from a year ago had been properly disposed of. Dr. Zhao tearfully confessed that he had made a terrible mistake. He had lost the serum somewhere around there and had come to check if it had caused any contamination. He knelt before Mingi, begging for help in dealing with the contamination. He had a family to support, and if his superiors found out, he would definitely lose his job. Mingi consoled the man, telling him that his abilities were limited and that it would be best to report the situation to the authorities. But upon learning that Mingi hadn't reported the situation, Dr. Zhao revealed a strange smile. This overly positive doctor declared his intention to eliminate all of humanity. He learned that Mingi hadn't reported that this place was already contaminated. Dr. Zhao then laid out his entire plan to save all of humanity. Humans reproduce recklessly, plunder recklessly, constantly pollute the environment, and even throw garbage into space. This behavior is no different from the creatures in the sewers. Mingi replied, yeah, it seems that's really the case. Then Dr. Zhao discussed the birth of life and whether it was right. This variant universe shouldn't have given birth to life in the first place. A universe without life is wonderfully beautiful. Humans are the kings of germs, like cancer cells, never stopping their plundering steps. But Mingi, who hadn't even attended Transcendent Academy, couldn't understand any of this, continuing with a bewildered, yeah. Dr. Zhao became more and more excited, grabbing this gifted student. The knowledge you learned from childhood about calamity demons and calamity stars, that's actually the universe's immune system. But Mingi disagreed. Do you know how hard I work every day fighting monsters? It's your fault for leaking the source of the contamination. Dr. Zhao pushed his shiny glasses up. I'm a doctor. When people are sick, I treat them. When the universe is sick, I am the universe's doctor. Dr. Zhao had completely lost it. He told Mingi directly that he created the mutagen, and his plan was to use this water supply station to transport the contaminant to the entire city of Nanyang. The tap water would flow into the entire city's underground system. Then all the rats, cockroaches, and insects in the city would mutate. Hearing Dr. Zhao's vicious plan, Mingi told him, "It's all right, you take your time, I'll be going now." Dr. Zhao was shocked. He hurriedly tried to persuade Mingi to stop his evil plan. "Don't you want to be a savior?" Mingi waved and left. "The city is too complicated. I'm going back to the countryside." Seeing that the kid was sensible, Dr. Zhao prepared to continue his plan. "He's stealing my serum. Mingi, you thief. I'll kill you." He put on a mask of agony, transforming into a super scion. "You disgusting rat. Give me back my serum." He summoned his good buddy, Erguzi, and began to chase Mingi. Just how terrifying is it when an honest person turns evil? In order to complete his plan to eliminate humanity, Dr. Zhao used himself as a mutation test subject. But the Calamity B serum that could cause mutations had been stolen by Mingi. The enraged Dr. Zhao released mutated rabid dogs to give chase. Just as Mingi climbed the rope ladder to escape, the rabid dogs behind him shot out their sharp claws, severing the ladder. Mingi hadn't expected these mutated beasts to have evolved intelligence as well. Several vicious dogs lunged at him simultaneously. Mingi seized the opportunity, stepping on the head of a rabid dog and leaping away. He immediately extracted earth elements from the ground and activated a skill that would make any construction foreman weep. Instantly repairing the large hole in the ground, a rabid dog slammed head first into the stone. It cried 2 cute little tears in pain. Reaching the ground, Mingi quickly ran for his life. He was no match for the mutated Dr. Zhao. Meanwhile, a group of B-rank transcendents were completing a bounty mission in the quarantine zone. Just as they were feeling smug, thinking these monsters were too weak, Dr. Zhao rushed out, fulfilling their wish. Hatman taunted, "You're unlucky to have run into us today." Seeing him talk too much, Dr. Zhao attacked directly. Hatman used his super speed to easily dodge. But Dr. Zhao not only had evolving muscles, he also seemed to have eaten a rubber fruit. He slammed Hatman against the wall, immobilizing him. Then, a sharp blade materialized from his body. He scored the first kill. The blue-haired woman rushed forward to save her teammate. Dr. Zhao effortlessly swung his blade. They weren't on the same level. Double kill. At that moment, a rabid dog emerged from underground and began tracking Mingi's scent. Dr. Zhao, sensing the mutated dog's actions, immediately gave chase. The terrified duo narrowly escaped. Moments later, the mutated dog discovered Mingi's location. He realized it was tracking him by scent. Mingi quickly ran into a gas station and used gasoline to mask his scent. He then hid inside a store. Seeing the mutated dog lose his trail, Mingi finally breathed a sigh of relief. But the mutated dog, with the keenest sense of smell, noticed something amiss. Just when Mingi thought he was safe, danger was quietly approaching. This man had unexpectedly gained the red venerable talent. His fists could extract the properties of anything. With the added bonus, his punches became incredibly powerful. It was thought Mingi could use this power to turn his life around. But at this moment, he was being chased by the mutated dog, scrambling to escape. There was nothing in the supermarket he could effectively extract properties from. And there were 3 more mutated dogs outside. He had to brace himself and face the one in front of him. He dodged the mutated dog's attack and then threw a heavy punch. The mutated dog, sent flying, crashed into a flower display. The dust filled the air, blinding Mingi. But the mutated dog, with its keen sense of smell, pounced on Mingi, pinning him to the ground. Just as it was about to bite off his head, Mingi focused all his strength into a punch aimed at a nearby shelf. A toolbox fell from above, narrowly saving him from a fatal blow. While the mutated dog was disoriented, Mingi punched upwards, launching it into the air. He unleashed a Pegasus meteor fist. Quickly accumulating energy in his fist, he unleashed a shocking force. As the mutated dog died, Dr. Zhao reacted. He immediately rushed to the gas station. Seeing his beloved pet killed, he was heartbroken. He ordered the other 3 mutated dogs to eat it. Their bodies and sense of smell evolved as a result. Dr. Zhao ordered them to capture Mingy alive. Moments later, Mingy heard the sounds of the mutated dogs again. Noticing their barks had become even more terrifying, Mingy quickly hid in the complex environment of an amusement park. As he was contemplating his attack strategy, a roar interrupted his thoughts. An evolved iron Garuru suddenly appeared before him. It leaped into the air, raising its iron axe. It swung the axe down at Mingy. Mingy quickly stepped back to dodge. The enraged, mutated dog manifested a second axe. This nearly cost Mingy his life. The cunning mutated dog used iron spikes, aiming for Mingy's legs. Unexpectedly, the boy performed a backflip. Clearly, with the red venerable talent, Mingy's speed and agility had improved. He taunted the mutated dog, "Monster, come and get me." The mutated dog growled, calling for its 2 brothers. Mingy scoffed. The next second, he ran away. In this era of betrayal, the seemingly fragile red venerable talent user showed no fear when facing mutated rabid dogs above Lord level. He used a long-lost martial arts technique. Come on. This angered the monster, who called for backup to deal with this arrogant youngster. Just when everyone thought Mingy was about to go on a killing spree, the kid unexpectedly ran away. He climbed onto a nearby roller coaster track, preparing for guerrilla warfare with the mutated dogs. He then climbed to the highest point of the track and used his metal absorption skill. The first mutated dog lunged at him. Mingy threw an incredibly hard punch, bursting forth with a tremendous energy. With his left fist, he pierced through the mutated dog's iron axe. Then, with a heavy blow from his right, he punched straight through the monster's body. Mingy hadn't expected the metal-infused fist to be so powerful. Confident, he faced the 2 mutated dogs climbing up behind him. Unexpectedly, one of the black dogs understood tactics and prepared to flank him. Mingy knew that being surrounded would put him at a disadvantage. He stopped the black dog in front of him, blocking the monster's attack with his golden right hand. He then aimed for the black dog's 6-pack abs. But in an instant, the mutated dog evolved bone-like armor. The monster's defense had increased significantly. At this moment, the other monster also approached. Mingy was about to punch, but bony spikes had grown out of the back of the monster's head. A punch would be excruciatingly painful, so he refrained. He was trapped, caught between the 2. No matter how he punched, he couldn't hurt the mutated dogs anymore. Just as he was about to succumb to the mutated dog's fierce attacks, a clattering sound echoed. Mingy knew his chance had come. He unleashed his full power. With one blow, he knocked the monster back a considerable distance. In an instant, the mutated dogs had evolved into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But Mingy revealed a knowing smile. He had just activated the roller coaster from the control room. He had planned to kill the monsters here. Now, the roller coaster rushed towards them. The monsters were completely unaware of the danger. The first one was hit directly, suffering a herniated disc. It died. Immediately after, Mingy leaped, hanging in midair. Another mutated dog followed suit, charging towards Mingy. After blocking the attack with his axes, he pulled the monster down from the air with him. Using the monster's body as a cushion, he crashed heavily to the ground. The threat was finally eliminated. After a quick cleanup, Mingy set off again, only to run into Dr. Zhao, who had been lying in wait. Dr. Zhao pointed upwards at Mingy. His classmate was tied up high in the air. This man had made a pact with the devil. Every time he borrowed power, he would kill one of his classmates. The reason for Dr. Zhao's madness was that Mingy had stolen the mutated virus that could destroy all of Lanyang City. Just now, for the safety of the people of Lanyang City, Mingy had been prepared to give up on saving his former classmate. But listening to the cries for help from above, he could ignore the lives of others, but he couldn't abandon the kind Lin Yuyu. So he agreed to Dr. Zhao's challenge. Dr. Zhao pulled a sharp knife from his body. He sneered, "If you can defeat me, you'll be the hero who saved Lanyang City. But you're too weak. I heard you went to the hospital after failing the Transcendent Academy entrance exam. You chose kinship in the end and were sent to our hospital. You're a failure. Your classmates only pity you." Barely anyone visited you in a year. You live such a small, pathetic life. And yet, at a time like this, you want to play the hero, acting all noble. Against me, with Lord-level strength, Dr. Zhao overwhelmed Mingyi, who quickly became severely injured. Lin Yuyu was heartbroken and filled with guilt. As Mingyi shakily got to his feet, Dr. Zhao immediately charged towards him to finish him off. He transformed his left hand into a giant blade and swung it at Mingyi. But at this moment, Mingyi focused his energy and splashed the blood from his hand into Dr. Zhao's eyes. Taking advantage of the moment, Dr. Zhao's vision was blurred. Mingyi used his own blood as a medium and unleashed a powerful punch. This punch carried immense power, and Dr. Zhao's body was pierced through the chest by his own attack. Just when everyone thought Dr. Zhao was dead and they were safe, he stood up and slowly pulled out the blade. He asked Mingyi, "Is your fist your only talent?" Mingyi didn't waste words and immediately punched him. Countless punches followed. Although Mingyi was giving it his all, Dr. Zhao possessed regenerative abilities and quickly recovered. Dr. Zhao slowly walked towards Mingyi and said triumphantly, "Your Lanyang-level fists, even shattered, can't defeat me." The feeling of giving your all and still being easily controlled isn't pleasant, is it? How can you compare to my perfect body? This was a fight with no suspense. Facing a Lord-level, mutated Dr. Zhao, Mingyi was like an ant, easily manipulated. No matter how hard he punched, he couldn't harm Dr. Zhao in the slightest. Dr. Zhao mocked Mingyi, "You look so pathetic, giving your all." He continued cruelly, "You're just a wretch. Your failures have caused your family endless trouble. You and your sister live at the bottom of society, working as laborers for the powerful. Why do you still pretend to be so noble?" With that, he punched Mingyi, sending him flying. He then quickly gathered power in his fist, forming sharp spikes. He then slammed his fist down towards Mingyi in the air. The immense power shattered the ground. After landing, Dr. Zhao realized something was wrong. Mingyi had quickly dodged the fatal blow. But now, Mingyi had retreated beyond the boundary line. So, Dr. Zhao raised a blade, preparing to kill another one of Mingyi's classmates. But at this moment, Mingyi interrupted him. He slowly said, "First, I never give up easily. I cherish my life more than anyone. Second, the one who isn't cared for is you, Dr. Zhao, not me. My sister begged you without dignity because she cares about me, her only family." When a mutation occurred, everyone in the hospital was busy escaping. It was Nurse Song who didn't abandon me, someone who hadn't woken up for a year. My classmates didn't abandon me because Lin Yuyu led the class in raising donations for me. Finally, my transcendent talent is not just Lanyang level. Although your body can heal itself, every punch I landed on you left its mark. 49 punches of pure intent. Suddenly, Mingyi unleashed his ultimate technique. Countless giant fists appeared in the sky. Take this. Starfall Fist. The moment the galactic fist was unleashed, fists containing boundless energy surged forward. Dr. Zhao stared at the incoming fists with disbelief. This brat can actually use an ultimate talent. Suddenly, a tremendously powerful explosion erupted in the sky. This scene stunned everyone present. A massive crater was blasted into the ground. Dr. Zhao was obliterated by this punch. Not even a trace remained. He was the weakest, a white dust-level transcendent. But now he was being fiercely sought after by the official transcendent organizations. To recruit Mingyi, Catwoman even offered him full benefits, including health insurance and a pension fund. Yasuo even offered to teach Mingyi his ultimate technique, Wind Slash, just as Mingyi was hesitating about what to choose. But he suddenly fainted. It turned out that after the battle with Dr. Zhao, his energy consumption was too great, and he couldn't hold on any longer. Mingyi was then sent to the hospital. The TV was broadcasting news of Mingyi's heroic deeds. But he didn't know he was famous yet. Nurse Song, blushing, told Mingyi that he was already a little hero of Lanyang City. At this moment, the door was pushed open. It was General Li and Catwoman from the Transcendent Organization. General Li praised Mingyi for preventing the Lanyang disaster and expressed his gratitude to Mingyi. General Li seemed to have something more to say. Catwoman and Nurse Song quietly left the room. Mingyi asked, "Is there something important you need to say privately?" General Li told Mingyi, "The calamity demons that invaded our world all came from meteors. A year ago, the astronomy team detected a meteor named Goddess. After entering the Earth's atmosphere, it suddenly changed its trajectory and exploded above the Earth. You happened to be near the crater at the time, and you were unconscious for a whole year because of it. Generally asked, "What did you see at that time, Mingi?" Mingi said, "I only saw the sky obscured by the dazzling light of the meteor, and then I quickly lost consciousness." Mingi then asked, "Was there a terrible calamity demon on that meteor?" Generally replied, "We classify disasters into 12 levels. A level 1 disaster is no less than a tornado. The mutated monster incident in the southern suburbs of Lanyang City was classified as a level 3 disaster, and the goddess calamity star was initially observed and classified as a level 9 disaster. 5 years ago, there was a level 8 disaster in the South China region. The culprit was an Earth-level calamity leader from a meteor. So, the entity within the goddess calamity star is extremely terrifying. It could even pose a threat to all of humanity. After probing, Generally realized he couldn't get any useful information from Mingi. So he extended an invitation to join the Transcendent organization and then left. Afterward, Mingi closed his eyes and entered meditative cultivation. A giant goddess statue appeared before his eyes. The moment the goddess statue saw Mingi, it suddenly erupted with a tremendous burst of energy. This was the level 9 goddess calamity star that generally mentioned. He was the weakest white city level transcendent, yet he housed the supreme goddess calamity star within him. This being bestowed upon him the red venerable level transcendent talent and guided him in cultivation within the meditative space, constantly helping Mingi improve his strength. This is how he managed to defeat the mutated Dr. Zhao. However, the goddess calamity star's original purpose was to destroy all of humanity, but an accident occurred during its descent to Earth. As a result, it became parasitic within Mingi. Now, the two were in a symbiotic state. Knowing the goddess's purpose, Mingi wasn't going to let her leave. The goddess cursed angrily, "You, such a weak host, are not worthy of this goddess." Mingi replied, "Generally said a calamity star's first instinct is to kill, but your first instinct is survival." The goddess warned Mingi, "Don't compare me to those inferior calamity star demons. I'm a supreme being." Looking at the seemingly simple-minded goddess, Mingi decided to teach her a lesson. Mingi said, "Actually, I don't know the truth of the universe either. I'm just following some kind of decree." He then extended an invitation to the goddess, saying he wanted to show her the human world. He believed they could get along quite well. Hearing this, the goddess slapped him. "The premise of getting along is for you to cultivate diligently. I don't want to be buried with you." She immediately pulled out a virtual combat system, wanting to conjure some powerful opponents for Mingi to practice with. Exhausted, Mingi left the meditative space. Mingi knew he had a dangerous nuclear bomb inside him. He planned to try getting along with the goddess first and see if he could influence her. Meanwhile, a large number of reporters jammed the hospital, eager to interview Lanyang City's little hero. Barely out of the hospital, Mingi was hounded by reporters for interviews. After composing himself, he stated that he had simply done his best to protect those around him. The main force in eliminating the mutated threat was the military, official academies, and associations. Everyone who stepped into the southern suburbs was a hero of this city. They could interview each and every one of them. After the interviews, Mingi immediately sought out his older sister, excitedly showing off the reward money he received for his courageous act. He then helped his sister loudly hawk ice cream. Nearby, Luo Lin from the official organization silently observed Mingi, sighing that this kid could have been the center of attention for the entire city. Yet he refused all media attention and came here to work. She then called Mingi, asking how his consideration of joining the official organization was going. Mingi politely declined the invitation, stating that he wanted to complete his studies at the Transcendent Academy first. Luo Lin expressed her understanding of Mingi's thoughts and then introduced the Special Recruitment Department. It offered freedom in normal times, requiring assistance to the officials only during certain crises. It not only came with officer-level authority, but also an annual hiring fee. This special recruitment department was called Dragon Fawn. The first thing this man did after receiving the reward money was to indulge in a lavish seafood feast. He took his sister to the mall and bought her the clothes she had always wanted. He also rented a house within the 3rd Ring Road. Mingi finally achieved his goal of living a comfortable life with his sister. His sister told Mingi that if he ever met Lanyang City's little hero, he should thank him for her. She had heard that he fought a monster much stronger than himself to protect their city. He could have run away, but he persevered until the end. The reason the children in the park could eat ice cream and they could live in a comfortable new house, the reason everyone could live peacefully in this city, was because transcendents were protecting them. But his sister didn't know that the little hero she spoke of was her own younger brother. And it was because of all the people who loved him that Mingi was willing to fight to his last breath to protect them. Afterward, to better protect them, Mingi began a grueling training regimen. He wouldn't rest until he broke a barbell every day. He would run around the earth 3 times to improve his endurance and practice Master Ma Bao's lightning martial arts. When tired, he would go to the library to study theoretical knowledge. Finally, he used the Dr. Zhao constructed by the goddess to gain practical combat experience. The goddess told Mingi that his combat power was already considerable. He should eat more original recipe fried chicken to supplement his nutrition. Although he now possessed the strength of a transcendent beyond the leap level, he needed to reach the sun level as soon as possible. When he could use absolute dominion, Dr. Zhao would be nothing but a crawling insect before him. Mingi recalled the knowledge his teacher had imparted. White dust level talent would grant humans abilities that surpassed the limits of physical strength. His ability was the immensely powerful Golden Fist. Azure Edge level talent would grant an explosive spirit companion. The Silver River Spirit Companion was an attribute-absorbing Black Hound. This level of talent also possessed a life-saving ultimate move. Based on the different attributes awakened by each individual, they would master different ultimate moves. Silver River's attribute was fists, so his ultimate move was Heartless Iron Fist. But the teacher hadn't told Mingi about the abilities of Red Venerable level talent. The goddess spoke up, saying that Red Venerable level transcendence, in addition to possessing the previous abilities, could also use absolute dominion. Not only would his transcendent abilities be multiplied, but his opponents would also have to abide by his combat rules. Mingi excitedly asked if there was a trial card so he could experience it. The goddess was speechless, telling him to master his ultimate move first. In a month, he would be participating in the Transcendent Academy's special recruitment assessment. Just how terrifying was a self-disciplined man? To prepare for the Transcendent Academy's special recruitment assessment, Mingi lifted barbells 5,000 times and ran 20 kilometers every day. 10,000 punches. When tired, study theory, and improve practical combat experience in the meditative space. After a month of this high-intensity training, Mingi said goodbye to his sister and set off for the Transcendent Academy in Nandu. Meanwhile, in an industrial park somewhere in Nandu, the area was suddenly covered by a red mist. 2 security guards, unable to see anything, noticed the sudden chill in the air. They decided to head back to their dorm for a couple of exciting rounds of Honor of Kings. But they had no idea something even more exciting was about to happen. As they walked, Lao Li realized his duo partner, Lao Wang, was gone. The sight that greeted him when he turned around almost made him jump out of his skin. A hideously ugly spider demon had sucked Lao Wang dry. Lao Li immediately turned and ran. I haven't even reached the peak rank yet. I don't want to die. Lao Li gasped, hiding in the control room. Just as he was about to pull out his phone to call the police, he saw a strange woman outside through the glass. Kind-hearted, Lao Li quickly told the woman, "It's dangerous out there. Come in quickly." The beautiful woman obediently entered. She immediately began absorbing Lao Li's spirit with countless tentacles. Poor Lao Li died with regret, his body turning into another withered husk. Suddenly, a loud explosion rocked the industrial park. A little boy trembled in fear, hiding inside a building. He looked up and saw a giant as tall as a building. The overwhelming pressure kept the boy silent. At that moment, the train Mingi was almost passing through the area. Inside the carriage, Mingi was reassuring his sister over the phone. Suddenly, a rolling fog swept past outside the train, bringing the high-speed train to a halt. Mingi found that his phone had lost signal. While everyone was still wondering what was going on, a little boy noticed something outside the window. His mother told him not to speak nonsense. Mingi also looked out, but didn't see anything unusual. An announcement came over the intercom. The train has encountered an unforeseen and unavoidable situation. Please remain seated and wait patiently. But Mingi was worried and decided to inquire about the situation. Fong Yinrong, a student from the Transcendent Academy who was also on the train, said he could help. After informing the conductor of their transcendent status, the two set off to inspect the surroundings. But within the unusual mist, danger lurked, waiting for them. He was the most selfless conductor. Facing the sudden calamity, he used his last ounce of strength to close the train doors, ensuring the safety of the other passengers. Despite his fear and grievances, he knew this was his duty. The woman's name was Tan Xin. She was originally the conductor for the train arriving in Nandu. Now, the train was enveloped in a red mist and had come to a sudden stop. Mingi and Fong Yinrong, both transcendents, volunteered to check the situation outside. They instructed Tan Xin to keep the doors locked and not open them unless it was them returning. Then they left. While Tan Xin was checking the situation inside the carriage, she vaguely saw the figure of a girl outside. Kind-hearted Tan Xin was about to open the door when she suddenly remembered Mingi and Fong Yinrong's warning. She released the door handle. Tan Xin tried to see through the glass, but the thick fog outside obscured her vision. A man passing by also saw the girl and urged Tan Xin to open the door. The poor girl must be terrified. Tan Xin replied that the Transcendents had warned them not to open the doors under any circumstances. Besides, after the train stopped, all the doors were locked. It was impossible for anyone to get off. The man passing by angrily scolded, "How can you be so cold-hearted? She might be from a nearby village, coming here to ask for help." Helpless, Tan Xin used her body to block him. But the man shoved Tan Xin aside and roared, "If you won't open it, I will." In a moment of panic, Tan Xin lunged forward and grabbed him. But the man slapped her, sending her flying to the ground. As he reveled in his self-proclaimed heroism, he was unaware that the terrifying calamity demon was waiting just outside. The man was instantly petrified with fear. In the next second, countless tentacles pulled him outside. Tan Xin, sprawled on the ground, trembled at the sight. But she kept a clear head, quickly got up, and rushed towards the door. Just as Tan Xin tried to close the door, the calamity demon's tentacles wrapped around her legs. A powerful force dragged her outside. Tan Xin was terrified, but in the next moment, her expression became resolute. With a sudden pull, she slammed the door shut. She knew that if she didn't, all the passengers inside would be in danger. But she herself was swallowed by the darkness. At that moment, another attendant came to check the carriage and found door number 2 unlocked. She locked it and sighed. How could Tan Xin be so careless? Outside, the lurking calamity demon reached out its tentacles, but found it couldn't open the locked door. So it quietly left the train. He was a novice star radiance level transcendent. But when faced with the powerful calamity demon, he stepped in front of the Transcendent Academy's top student, saying, "Little sis, step back. I'm about to show off." This enraged the calamity demon. It lashed out with its hair in a thorn whip attack. Mingi quickly dodged, but Fong Yinrong couldn't react in time and was struck hard by a tentacle. Mingi urged him to hide, saying he could handle the calamity demon. But in the next second, the calamity demon's tentacles tightly bound him. Fong Yinrong shouted, "You're only at the crevice heart level. How strong can you be?" Mingi, completely immobilized, was suddenly pulled towards the calamity demon by a powerful force. Using the momentum, Mingi unleashed a splitting heaven fist. The overwhelming force shocked even Fong Yinrong. The calamity demon was furious. He didn't hold back against the beauty. Turns out he's a pervert. The harder you hit him, the more excited he gets. It unleashed its calamity bloodline, and countless, even fiercer tentacles surged towards Mingi. But Mingi remained calm, countering the calamity demon's attacks with a barrage of concentrated fists. Fong Yinrong couldn't even see how many punches were thrown. In the blink of an eye, Mingi appeared before the calamity demon, his eyes filled with killing intent. A powerful blow pierced the calamity demon's body. Suddenly, a sight within startled Mingi. There was a person inside the calamity demon. It was Tan Xin, the the train attendant. Mingi quickly pulled her out, but as he checked on Tan Xian, the injured calamity demon, seizing the opportunity, escaped. The foul odor emanating from Tan Xian made Feng Yinrong cover his nose and mouth. But Mingi didn't hesitate. He began to perform CPR. After Mingi's emergency treatment, Dansin finally digan concions. The other attendant quickly urged them to board the train and leave the dangerous area. But they didn't know that this area was just the tip of the iceberg of the red mist. After this, a mysterious figure appeared in Xiaopei village. The man before him was Yeso from the Transcendent Organization. His superior had sent him not only to investigate the sudden appearance of the red mist, but also to track a giant calamity demon whose power was said to rival even military-grade entities. This man's luck with women was truly terrible. During the Academy's Talent Awakening ceremony, the school beauty had quietly cheered him on. Yet, right in front of the goddess, he awakened the most useless white Zen epic talent. Depressed, Mingi rode his motorcycle, running a red light to vent his frustration. As a result, he was struck by a meteor. The school beauty left a letter for the paralyzed Mingi. It said that if Mingi woke up, she would be his girlfriend. But as fate would have it, a year later, Mingi did indeed wake up. Having just arrived in Nandu, he received a harassing phone call. At first, Mingi thought it was some kind of telecom scam. However, the familiar voice from the other end of the line made him blush. It was Lu Qian, the current star of the Nandu Transcendent Academy. Mingi asked in surprise, "How did you get my number?" Lu Qian said it was through a nearby person Shake to Connect feature. They then arranged to meet outside the school. On his way to the Transcendent Academy, Mingi recalled that innocent memory in the small woods on campus. Mingi had pulled out a bouquet of wildflowers and confessed to Lu Qian, but the shy Lu Qian didn't respond on the spot. Mingi sighed inwardly, thinking that after more than a year without a reply, he must have been friend-zoned. However, he didn't know that Lu Qian had actually replied positively, because his classmate had torn up the letter. On the other side, Lu Qian was sharing the news of her impending romance with her best friend. Her best friend told Lu Qian to be careful. "The people chasing you line up all the way to the school gate. How can a loser from Nanyang City compare to the young masters of Nandu?" Lu Qian replied, "Since he's awake, I should try dating him. If it really doesn't work out, I'll tell him." Despite her best friend's dissuasion, Lu Qian was determined to go to the meeting. Mingi had already put on a handsome suit and was waiting at the school gate. The moment Lu Qian appeared, she became the focus of the entire school. Others were extremely surprised to see Lu Qian greeting a strange man. After exchanging pleasantries, Lu Qian invited Mingi to a coffee shop. Along the way, Mingi kept thinking that Lu Qian was probably only inviting him for coffee to avoid embarrassing him. Meanwhile, Lu Qian was thinking, "Why hasn't he held my hand yet?" Mingi looked at Lu Qian and thought it would be nice to just be ordinary friends. This made Lu Qian blush, thinking Mingi was going to kiss her right there on the street. They then arrived at the coffee shop. Nervous about her first date, Lu Qian quickly changed the subject by asking Mingi where he lived. Seeing Lu Qian's flushed face, Mingi nervously asked if she was feeling unwell. Just as they were enjoying their happy time together, a mysterious, handsome young man appeared outside the window. On his first date with the goddess, he ran into his long-lost rival, Fan Kai. Fan Kai snatched Mingi's hunter badge and mocked him. "Students who have been in the Transcendent Academy for a year are at least Yueyao level. You, a mere trainee at the Xian Hui level, are a laughingstock." But Mingi didn't care at all. He waved his hand dismissively and said, "Get lost." Fan Kai gritted his teeth in anger. He didn't expect Mingi to be so arrogant now. At that moment, Lu Qian received a call from her superior and quickly told the two to be quiet. Seeing this, Fan Kai could only leave, fuming. He silently planted the seeds of revenge in his heart. Lu Qian told Mingi that she had something urgent to attend to and had to leave. She said she would definitely come and cheer him on during the assessment. Then Lu Qian's brother came to pick her up in a luxury car. Mingi mistakenly thought he was Lu Qian's boyfriend and thought to himself that he should bother her less in the future. Later, On the day of the assessment, Mingi looked at the academy he had once dreamed of attending, lost in thought. Suddenly, a classmate called out to him and asked if Mingi was also here for the assessment. Looking at Mingi's cheap clothes, Peng Linghui said, "You're really playing it down. Tell me, how much did your family donate to get you into the special recruitment?" A clueless Mingi looked bewildered. Peng Linghui told him to stop pretending. Who doesn't know the special recruitment is just a backdoor? He smugly told Mingi, "My family donated 7 million for an admission spot. No one can pass Nandu Academy's assessment without donating money." Mingi then realized that the special recruitment assessment was just a show, a backdoor for the children of donors. The teachers in charge of the assessment arrived, but when they called out names, they didn't even reach Mingi's. Peng Linghui, beside him, quickly reminded the teacher. They then discovered Mingi's name on the second page. They subsequently informed the students present that the special recruitment assessment consisted of 5 parts: 4 outstanding physical tests and a combat confrontation. The first assessment was a strength test. The teacher asked Mingi to go first. If you can't reach 1,500 kilograms, you can leave directly. The teacher's intention in having Mingi go first was to dissuade him. Mingi took a deep breath. He then began to gather his strength and unleashed a powerful blow. A strong force instantly erupted. He directly broke the strength testing dummy. The students present exclaimed, "What terrifying strength!" The 3 teachers had never encountered such a situation during an assessment. Did that punch break the instrument? The teacher then stammered, "Mingi has passed the first assessment, but due to the damaged instrument, everyone else is considered to have passed." Mingi's mind was reeling. Wow, they can do that. How stubborn is this guy? Everyone else uses their superpowers to pass the entrance exam, but he insists on relying on his own strength. When the proctor saw that Mingi was a tightwad, they decided to increase the difficulty in the second stage to get rid of him. The students participating in the assessment then arrived at a spacious field. Standing before them was a warlord level Hongwen cheetah. The second stage of the assessment was speed. As long as they weren't tackled within the allotted time, they passed. The teacher quietly informed the animal trainer to eliminate Mingi first. Go easy on the other students, or none of them will pass. With the trainer's command, the assessment officially began. Suddenly, Peng Linghui felt a chill behind him. It turned out the cheetah had chosen him as its first target. The examiner coughed to alert the trainer. The trainer was surprised. This kid donated so much. He quickly blew his whistle. The cheetah had already caught up to Peng Linghui. Just as it was about to eliminate him, the cheetah, receiving its master's command, swiped at the air, pretending to miss. Then it tripped and fell. Mingi thought, this cheetah is warlord level, but its brain seems a bit off. Another whistle blew. The trainer signaled the cheetah to pursue Mingi with all its might. The cheetah knew it had a job to do and instantly unleashed its true strength. Mingi sensed something was wrong behind him. As soon as he turned around, he saw the cheetah pouncing. Mingi quickly dodged the attack. Looking at the suddenly ferocious cheetah, Mingi was bewildered. Wasn't it just a scaredy cat a moment ago? A furious roar echoed. The cheetah began to chase Mingi even more frantically. Mingi tried to lead the cheetah towards the other examinees, but the cheetah seemed completely oblivious to the students who were busy taking selfies. Mingi thought, am I coated in honey or something? Why is it only chasing me? Annoyed, Mingi decided to show them his real speed. He kicked off the ground, instantly creating distance between himself and the cheetah. The other students were shocked by Mingi's superhuman speed. The examiner was also amazed. That speed surpasses most Yueyao level transcendence. 10 minutes later, the cheetah was panting, completely exhausted. A relaxed Mingi taunted, "Why aren't you chasing me anymore? Now it's my turn to chase you. If I catch you, I'll knock your teeth out." The cheetah, frightened by these words, bared its teeth. So the man and the cheetah began their chase again. 15 minutes later, the trainer, holding the exhausted cheetah, pleaded with Mingi, "Please, have mercy on my little cheetah." When Mingi responded that he wanted to practice his second stage speed burst, the examiner quickly interrupted and announced that all the candidates had passed. Next is the third assessment, reaction speed. He's the stingiest man in the universe. Everyone else uses their superpowers to pass the assessment, but he refuses to give the examiner a single cent. The third test was for reaction speed. In front of them was a creature known as a devil tree. The assistant gently pricked their finger and dripped a couple of drops of blood onto it, triggering the devil tree's attack mechanism. Then the candidates were asked to line up for the test. When it was the turn of the rich second-generation kids who were happy to donate, the devil tree merely waved a branch languidly. The students passed with barely a sweat. Mingi was speechless, thinking, could the favoritism be any more obvious? It was now his turn to take the assessment. The examiner gave a simple glance. And the assistant immediately understood. Without hesitation, they made a large cut on their palm. The more blood it sucked, the stronger the devil tree became. The now satiated devil tree instantly became invigorated. Its power and speed increased considerably, startling Mingi, who narrowly dodged the attack. Having already learned the examiner's tactics in the first two tests, Mingi was no longer surprised. He focused on preparing for a high-difficulty assessment. What the examiners didn't know was that Mingi had a hidden talent for good luck. Even bullets had trouble hitting him. No matter how fast the devil tree attacked, it couldn't touch Mingi. The examiner quickly questioned the assistant, asking if they were going easy on him. The helpless assistant had no choice but to go all out. They slashed their other hand twice. Once again, they injected the devil tree with energy. Receiving more blood, the devil tree went completely berserk. Its power was fully unleashed, and its branches grew rapidly. Looking at the even more powerful devil tree, Mingi thought it was a good opportunity to practice his hearing. He then closed his eyes. Relying solely on the sound of the branches cutting through the air, Mingi easily dodged the devil tree's continuous attacks. The examiners and students present were dumbfounded. Was this something a human could do? Mingi then unleashed his secret technique. Repeatedly weaving back and forth, he darted between the attacking branches. After 5 minutes of this, the devil tree was completely exhausted. Mingi simply stretched. The examiner announced that the assessment was overdue to the assistant's physical condition. The female assistant quickly told the examiner that Mingi had exceeded expectations in all 3 assessments, and such talent was rare. But the examiner roared, since this is a special recruitment, a comprehensive assessment is required. No aspect can be neglected. Proceed to the next assessment, combat training. How stubborn is this man? Others use their superpowers to defy fate, or buy low and sell high to gain new extraordinary talents. But he actually wants to use his own strength to pass the Transcendental Academy's talent test. And the talent Mingi awakened is merely at the White Minister level. The examiner told Mingi, even if you possess great strength, superhuman speed, and perfect reflexes, do you know the immense destructive power that ultimate recall brings to a transcendent? Can you withstand the soul seed and the ultimate recall possessed only by those with extraordinary talents? Mingi, looking bewildered, said he knew, because in the previous battle, he had already successfully unleashed ultimate recall, instantly defeating an opponent stronger than himself. Seeing that the other wealthy applicants had all awakened subsoul level transcendent talents, the examiner said, no matter how perfect your basic skills are, they can't compare to any candidate's ultimate recall. Then, Mingi walked onto the talent testing platform. Unpleasant memories resurfaced, but this time he didn't hesitate at all, placing his hand firmly on the talent testing device. A blue light slowly emerged. Although not the anticipated white dust level, it was only azure edge level. The examiner looked disdainful. But at this moment, a purple light appeared, instantly bursting forth with a powerful energy. The examiner said in disbelief, how is this possible? Didn't the data say he was only white dust level? But Mingi's talent didn't stop there. In reality, his true talent was Flood Lord level. Seeing the red light about to emerge, Mingi quickly removed his hand. He intended to hide his true strength. Mingi said smugly to the examiner, now I should have passed the assessment, right? The examiner told him not to get too cocky. There was one last practical combat segment. Following this, the examiner announced the need for student volunteers to assist with the practical combat assessment. While they were still pondering who Mingi's opponent would be, there was a knock at the door. Fan Kai expressed his desire to volunteer for the practical combat assessment. As the Tanhwa of the Blue Yang clan, and having furthered his studies at the Academy for a year, Fan Kai's strength ranked within the top 10 on the Academy's practical combat rankings. The purpose of his visit was precisely to prevent Mingi from passing the academy assessment. This coincided with the examiner's intentions, who immediately agreed to Fan Kai's request. This newbie, who couldn't even get into the Transcendent Academy, was actually challenging a top 10 expert from the Academy's combat rankings. As a Transcendent who mastered the Gale West technique, Fan Kai's strength was not to be underestimated. Because Mingi was close to Lu Qian, the school beauty, Fan Kai had always made things difficult for him. Now, he was even volunteering to be Mingi's opponent in the Transcendent Academy's special recruitment assessment. Mingi said, "If you like Lu Qian, go after her openly and honestly. What's the point of constantly harassing me? Is it to cover up your inner failures? Do you have to constantly step on me to feel superior?" These words completely broke Fan Kai's composure. He cursed, "So what? What are you? The Transcendent Academy isn't a place for bottom-feeding scum like you to just waltz into." Mingi smiled slightly and said, "So this is the real you, much more pleasant than the Yang Feng imitating you. But the urge to punch you has only increased." Fan Kai yelled, "Now you should be on your knees begging me. I'm your examiner." Mingi tossed his jacket aside and said, "This is good. It gives me a legitimate reason to flatten you." He then charged straight at Fan Kai, landing a heavy punch. Instantly, a surprising force erupted, sending Fan Kai flying 10 meters away. At this moment, Mingi immediately launched a second attack. Taking advantage of the moment Fan Kai was airborne, he quickly rushed in front of him again. He mercilessly delivered an uppercut. The power of this punch knocked out one of Fan Kai's teeth. Fan Kai then used wind suction to hover in midair. Those two punches had enraged him. He immediately launched a spirit technique, using a gale edge attack towards Mingi. The ground instantly shattered, erupting with immense power. Fan Kai laughed. "You can't even get close to me. How can you fight me?" He then activated the final stage, Zero Season Windstorm. He summoned a giant wind serpent. Seeing Mingi trapped within the wind array, he immediately extracted earth elements from the ground and began to accumulate power in his mystic fist. Just as Fan Kai was gloating, he suddenly realized something was wrong. A 100-meter-tall fist suddenly erupted from the ground, sending him flying. This was Mingi's pig-slaughtering fist. The onlookers gasped. Is Fan Kai really one of the top 10 in our sophomore year? He's actually being beaten like this by an applicant who hasn't even enrolled yet. Humiliated by Mingi, Fan Kai was enraged. His hidden talent was that the angrier he became, the stronger the gale he could control. Now, at his peak state, Fan Kai activated his purple soul, a soul art usable only with a corresponding talent. Instantly, a violent tornado, the Gale West, swept across the entire arena. An examiner shouted, using an ultimate soul art, "That's forbidden." But Teacher Yin remained silent. Fan Kai yelled, "What good is your brute strength now? It's over, Mingi." Despair. The Gale West tornado's power was immense. Mingi marveled, "So this is someone else's soul art." Then he was swallowed by the tornado. Teacher Yin couldn't help but panic. At this rate, an accident might occur during the assessment. Mingi's voice reached Fan Kai from within the tornado. "If you truly want to crush someone," Mingi said, "you should unleash your soul without reservation. Chattering incessantly only makes you look more impotent and enraged." Fan Kai roared furiously, "I was going to show you some mercy, but now you'll be back in the hospital, paralyzed." He slammed the Gale West tornado towards Mingi. Mingi began to gather energy in his hands, drawing upon the wind attribute within the storm itself. He then unleashed a full-powered strike towards Fan Kai. A surge of energy shot straight at him. Fan Kai could no longer defend himself against Mingi. A violente explosion érupted. Fan Kai was sent flying from one end of the platform to the other, crashing into the wall, unconscious. With unparalleled power, Mingi successfully passed the final practical assessment. After defeating Fan Kai, one of the top 10 students in the academy, Mingi successfully passed the Transcendent Academy's entrance exam. With his exceptional performance, Mingi also gained a little admirer. A girl invited him to her dorm, mentioning her kitten could do backflips. Just as Mingi was about to leave with the girl, a familiar figure appeared behind him. Lu Qian called out, "Excuse me, upperclassman, Mingy and I are high school classmates. Let me be his guide. Thank you for your enthusiasm." Lu Qian's intimidating glare made the girl break out in a cold sweat. She then suggested exchanging contact information. Lu Qian said his phone was broken and being repaired. The girl asked for his phone number. Lu Qian said his SIM card was also broken and he was getting a new one. Finally, the girl was dissuaded. Lu Qian asked, a little annoyed, that girl was so forward. "You seem to have passed the exam with flying colors." Mingy replied, "Just SOSO." The two walked through the campus, chatting and laughing. It was like being back in their old school days. There were vast practice fields, a bustling student street, and vintage-style teaching buildings. In the days that followed, Mingy studied at the Transcendent Academy. A teacher explained, Transcendent talents are divided into 5 levels: White Dust, Azure Edge, Purple Soul, Crimson Lord, and Black Saint. So what are the core abilities of a White Dust level talent? A student named Fong Yinrong asked. "Those with Transcendent talents have superior physical qualities," the teacher replied, "and with diligent training, they can surpass the limits of some athletes." The teacher continued, "This is the core ability of a White Dust level Transcendent. We call it the Transcendent Physique. Azure Edge level Transcendents, in addition to the Transcendent Physique, also possess a unique special ability." The teacher then asked, "Can any of you demonstrate?" A girl with white hair raised her hand. "My Transcendent talent is Dazzling Light." "Azure Edge, Dazzling Light," the teacher noted. "Go ahead and show us." The girl gathered a bright light in her hand and then crushed it. The teacher's words instantly captivated all the students in the classroom. Bursting Neighbor consumes a significant amount of stamina and mental energy. Therefore, cultivating transcendent stamina is crucial. The teacher then began to introduce the Purple Soul level talents. The teacher pulled out a long-cherished USB drive. Let's learn from this action clip. What appeared on the big screen was Mingy's fight with Fan Kai. The teacher explained, this student's transcendent talent is Gale West. When he wants to unleash his ultimate soul art, the wind absorption must reach a certain intensity. Mingy suddenly understood. So, if I had just dispersed Fan Kai's Gale West with my fist, defeating him would have been much easier. Suddenly, everyone was stunned by the scene before them. On the screen appeared the image of Mingy punching Fan Kai. The students exclaimed, "Is he even human?" The pixelation was intense. Fong Yinrong began to suspect, "Is that man on the screen Mingy?" A student beside him asked, "Isn't a Purple Soul art more than 10 times stronger than an Azure Edges? How'd he do that?" The teacher made a peace sign and said, "Rumor has it, this student's foundation is exceptionally solid. He scored full marks in all 3 stamina tests. The stronger the transcendent stamina, the stronger the spirit skills and soul arts one can perform. Theoretically, a White Dust talent with transcendent physique cultivated to its peak can also defeat a Black Saint talent." The students exclaimed, "The man in the textbook is too strong. It feels like he could take on our entire class by himself." And this man, comparable to One Punch Man, was their classmate, Mingy. This seemingly ordinary man was actually the legendary One Punch Man. Fong Yinrong said, "The man in the video is you, right? I remember you used your fist to send that Calamity sprite flying." Mingy replied, "Lots of people use their fists. Doesn't Teacher Chi you also use fists?" Suddenly, a broadcast interrupted them. The astronomy department has observed a small meteor breaking through the atmosphere. Its trajectory is preliminarily estimated to be Shaolin, Nandu. Please evacuate the villagers immediately. Frontline commanders, prepare for battle. Rear support, please establish a cordon and organize backup teams. At the same time, Luo Lin called Mingy. He told him, the Shaolin Calamity Sprite Swarm is estimated to be no less than 1,000 strong. The Transcendent Disaster Response Organization needs you on standby. Be prepared to deal with unpredictable emergencies. The order put Mingy on high alert. He then returned to his dormitory. Mingy asked his roommate, "What does reserve student mean?" His roommate explained, 10 days before each disaster, the astronomy department makes an announcement. That's when the officials start to act. They'll dispatch personnel for investigation and preparation. As the leading academy, it's a great honor for Nandu Academy students to be selected as reserve students. And the frontline combatants enjoy even greater privileges. At noon, while I was strolling around, I saw our Nandu's famous goddesses heading there. Mingy asked, "Who are these Nandu goddesses you're talking about?" His roommate began to explain. Nandu has 3 goddesses. One is the Ice Princess, Tang Ning. Another is the Martial Saint, Feng Ling. And the third is the Thunder Goddess, Lu Qian. Mingi said, then I'm in luck. Lu Qian was my high school classmate, but his roommates thought he was bragging. Because the three goddesses were considered wives by all the male students in the academy. Mingi didn't bother explaining further and returned to his room. He then focused his mind and entered his meditation space. Mingi asked the goddess, who's my opponent today? The goddess stretched and said, the mutated zombie doctor is no longer a suitable virtual opponent for you. But because your exposure is limited, you need to encounter other calamity sprite species. Only then can I simulate more virtual opponents. The goddess continued, your second latent talent slot has opened. Find a way to obtain fate coins, and you can gain a second transcendent ability. Mingi's face was filled with shock. You mean those fate coins that grant transcendent abilities? The goddess told him, that kind of thing. You can get them from elders in calamity sprite nests. Of course, if you're rich, you can just buy them, Mingi said. I'm broke. The goddess replied, the rich rely on technology, the poor rely on mutation, and you rely on the good fortune of meeting the one and only me. Mingi asked, people get bitten by spiders, struck by lightning, and instantly take off to conquer the universe. I got hit by a huge meteor, and I still have to level up step by step. Can't I just get a max level gift package? The goddess scoffed, that's just a movie. Mingi then complained about being bored and urged her to arrange some opponents for him to practice with. The goddess, looking impatient, told the training fanatic to get lost and enjoy his wonderful college youth. Seeing this, Mingi decided to wander around campus. He ended up at the school's free combat practice arena. The goddess was dumbfounded. What a hopeless training maniac, she sighed. This loser, single for 20 years, was about to challenge Feng Ling, one of the Academy's three goddesses, the martial Saint Feng Ling. As a martial artist who had honed her physical skills to the extreme, Feng Ling dominated all the male students in the training arena. Her terrifying prowess intimidated the other students, leaving them just as she was complaining to her manager that she hadn't even broken a sweat today. Her manager told her, I just saw a young man who seems promising. Do you want to give him a try? This person was Mingi, also at the training grounds. Also a fanatic about physical training, Mingi had been giving the other students on the field a hard time. Seeing this, Feng Ling was immediately intrigued. She took off her jacket, preparing to challenge Mingi. Meanwhile, Mingi was desperately begging another student to trade a few more punches. At that moment, Feng Ling extended a practice invitation to Mingi. He accepted without hesitation. Feng Ling took a quick step forward and kicked out, aiming to give Mingi a shoulder and neck massage. Startled, Mingi quickly dodged. The intense battle drew a growing crowd of onlookers. Feng Ling complimented, good reflexes. Mingi modestly replied, you're not bad yourself. Then he quickly threw a punch. Unexpectedly, the girl's incredibly strong arms deflected his attack, sending him flying back. Taking advantage of the moment, Mingi was airborne. Feng Ling leaped into the air, aiming to end the fight with a dropkick. But Mingi was ready. He quickly gathered power in his fist. Feng Ling's descending slash and Mingi's rising dragon fist collided violently in midair, unleashing a destructive force. Even the air rippled from the impact. Seeing her attack fail, Feng Ling retreated, returning to a safe distance. It seems I underestimated you, Feng Ling admitted. Me too, Mingi replied. Mingi quickly advanced, unleashing a flurry of punches. Feng Ling used a shadow technique to dodge the blows, then quickly jumped back to create distance. But Mingi gave her no respite, using a burst of speed to close the gap. The two exchanged blows in midair, their dazzling display of skill leaving the onlookers stunned. Their speed and power are perfect, someone exclaimed. Just then, a dark-haired man received a phone call. He quickly told Feng Ling to stop fighting, informing her of an urgent mission. Feng Ling ceased her attack. A nearby admirer, hearing it was Feng Ling, shouted, Goddess, marry me. Feng Ling told Mingi, I have to go. Let's fight again another time. I'm here every Wednesday. Feng Ling then departed the training grounds. Mingi, now in casual clothes, strolled through the campus. As expected of Nandu Academy, he mused. Even the average girl is so busy. What was that girl's name again? Did I hear Feng Li? Pineapple. This loser, single for 100 years, had mistaken the most popular goddess in the school for a desperate admirer. Lu Qian invited Mingi to see a movie. This made the nearby eavesdropping students grind their teeth in frustration. Mingi said, then I can recommend a comedy movie. I heard it's highly rated. Lu Qian blushed slightly and asked directly, "Do you have anything else to do?" Mingy replied, "Just training. Nothing special." Lu Qian asked shyly, "So, you're not planning to watch it with me?" Mingy responded indifferently, "All right, I guess." A couple of guys practically coughed up blood. They couldn't believe their goddess could be so humble. The two then left together to go to the cinema. Seeing this scene, Mingy's classmates completely broke down. They fell to their knees with a thud. The goddess they yearned for was actually acting like Mingy's lapdog. First, she proactively asked him out for coffee, and now she's inviting him to the movies. It completely shattered their psychological defenses. Soon, the day of the freshmen's first field training arrived. Fang Nianrong told Mingy, "Someone is looking for you over there. Go see them." Mingy quickly went to where the instructors were. It was Officer Luo Lin from the Transcendent Organization. Luo Lin said, "I come to Nandu Academy every year to be a training instructor. You left in a hurry before, and I forgot to explain the authority of the Transcendent Disaster Response Organization members to you." Luo Lin told Mingy, "You have B-level authority, with command authority in the operational area. School and official reserve personnel are required to obey your coordination. Frontline combatants in your area that also need to prioritize following your arrangements. This time you have two tasks. The first is to be responsible for the safety of the freshmen. As for the second task," Luo Lin said, "you don't need to know yet. I'll tell you when the time comes." After receiving the instructions, Mingy returned to his team. The freshmen then arrived at a wilderness area, preparing to set up camp. After completing the preparations, night quickly fell. A student asked Officer Luo Lin, "Do you have any particularly frightening experiences?" Luo Lin began to reminisce. "At that time, I was just a student. I could see the monster as tall as a mountain range from dozens of kilometers away. Now, that city is abandoned, practically a nest for monsters." The student asked, "What level was that monster?" Luo Lin replied, "King level. We even lost several transcendent leaders in that battle." At this point, the teacher told everyone to rest early, as they would begin battlefield cleanup the next day. The next day arrived. Instructor Miaolon said, "We'll take everyone for a 1-hour morning jog in the mountains to warm up. Then we'll come back here for breakfast. Anyone who falls behind will only get steamed buns today." With Miaolan's command, the morning exercise officially began. This was the Transcendent Academy freshmen's first morning exercise. They not only had to go through dense bushes, climb steep cliffs, and cross rushing rivers, but in just a short time, only 4 people could keep up with Instructor Miaolon. Mingy, being a physical training fanatic, didn't even break a sweat when he reached the finish line. After the morning exercise, Officer Luo Lin began to assign tasks to the students. They needed to eliminate all the monster eggs in this area. If they found any hiding red-eyed monsters, they were not to act alone. With the instructor's command, the students set off. Mingy's squad arrived at the bushes downstream of the river. Mingy told Fang Nianrong, after everyone went to sleep last night, the instructors ran the route overnight and checked the surroundings. But the instructors probably didn't check. Just as Fang Nianrong was about to ask why, a sudden sound came. Looking back, they saw a red-eyed monster. Mingy just got ready to fight. But the next second, the cunning red-eyed monster ran away. Then a scream came. Mingy and Fang Nianrong rushed over. It turned out that the other members of the squad had discovered a large number of monster eggs there. Fang Nianrong said there was a red-eyed calamity beast earlier. He said try to ambush him, Mingy and me. Li Jing asked where it was and said we should hurry and chase after it. That would be a great opportunity to earn merit. But Mingy calmly told him it would be safer to inform the instructor first. Li Jing shouted, "What's there to be afraid of with just one calamity beast? Killing a calamity beast is a great opportunity to earn merit." Mingy still firmly refused. Seeing this, Li Jing cursed, "You coward. How can you go to the front lines like this?" Finally, with Fang Nianrong's intervention, the squad members agreed to let Mingy go and report the situation. Mingy then went to the top of the hill and fired a signal flare. The instructor rushed over and asked, "Did you find a calamity beast?" But suddenly, a cry for help was heard. Mingy immediately set off to provide assistance. Just as Mingy passed through a wooded area, he was blocked by a red-eyed calamity beast. Mingy threw a punch, sending it flying. He then tore the red-eyed calamity beast's body in half. Mingy had a bad feeling. This was likely a hidden nest that the frontline personnel hadn't discovered. Mingy followed the direction of the cries for help and quickly reached the source of the sound. But the cry for help was actually the sound of the calamity beast in front of him, mimicking a human voice. Suddenly, more red-eyed calamity beasts surrounded him. Suddenly, a red-eyed calamity beast bit through a vine, causing the ground to collapse. Mingy fell into the vine pit. Not only were a large number of calamity beast eggs hidden there, but Mingy also found himself in a very dangerous situation. This was the legendary white fog incident. Once someone carelessly entered the fog, they would be isolated in another dimension. Previously, in the Shishan industrial zone, the people inside had mysteriously disappeared because of this white fog. The freshmen of the Transcendent Academy were extremely panicked. They hadn't expected to encounter such a dangerous situation on their first field training exercise. Meanwhile, Lu Qian was searching everywhere for her missing classmates. Hearing Lu Qian's voice, Mingy, trapped below, shouted out. Lu Qian said, "It's foggy here. I can't find you." Mingy told Lu Qian not to come over. "The vines under your feet are hollow." Then Mingy told Lu Qian to go save the other classmates first. He would deal with these calamity beasts and join her later. Lu Qian had no choice but to tell Mingy to be careful and went to help the others. As Mingy focused on preparing for battle, he determined that the calamity beast that could mimic calls was their leader. But at this moment, the leader released a large group of its underlings, planning to wear down Mingy's stamina first, and then finish him off itself. But the leader didn't expect Mingy's movement speed to be so fast. In the blink of an eye, Mingy broke free from the small calamity beasts and jumped right in front of it. He then threw a heavy punch. With a bang, the leader was sent flying into the wall. The impact also damaged some calamity beast eggs. The leader let out a furious roar. "You killed my children. I'll tear you apart." It immediately summoned even more small calamity beasts. Mingy smiled slightly. "The more you call, the more excited I get." He then coated his fists with vines and began absorbing their properties. Mingy raised his fists into the air and slammed them into the ground with all his might. Instantly, countless vines erupted from the ground, binding all the small calamity beasts. Mingy said, "I only pretended to be weak so I could catch you all in one go." Then, with a twist of his hands, he immediately killed all the small calamity beasts. Seeing this scene, the leader panicked. But at this point, it had no choice but to fight. It lunged at Mingy. Mingy responded with a swift left hook, knocking the leader to the ground. He then quickly rushed forward, raining countless punches onto the leader's face. In an instant, the entire valley was filled with banging sounds. After dealing with the red-eyed Yao Underground, Mingy immediately set out to help the other students. At this point, he discovered that these Yao eggs weren't for breeding offspring, but because the Yao eggs contain a one-star gas, they would react with rainwater and transform into calamitous entities. Mingy immediately sensed impending disaster. If the entire Shaolin area were enveloped by white calamitous entities, no one would make it out alive. This is absolutely the most imaginative protagonist I've ever seen. According to the report, the giant centipede that escaped from the research institute, after consuming a large number of Yao eggs, mutated and gained the ability to traverse the fog. Mingy asked doubtfully, "Then what about us? We also ate these Yao eggs." The Luo Lin instructor, angered, could only grit his teeth and curse. "This thing is poisonous. Only poisonous creatures like centipedes can digest it." According to the latest tracking clues, this giant centipede was last seen here, and it's highly likely it's within the fog. To help the students escape safely, give the order for everyone to start collecting the Yao eggs. We need to use them to lure out a creature. Only it can lead us out of here. Immediately, everyone began to act separately. Mingy said he would deal with the physical calamitous Yao. Then Mingy set off. Instructor Luo Lin told Mingy, "I can observe movements within a 3-kilometer radius in the fog. No anomalies detected so far." But the next second, dense red dots appeared on the instrument. Behind Instructor Fong Qin, a terrifying giant spider suddenly appeared. Fong Qin immediately threw out several darts, but they had no effect on the spider. The enraged spider let out a furious roar and attacked in the next second. Seeing this, Fong Qin quickly fled. Instructor Luo Lin directed him to run out of the woods. But Fang Qin knew the camp was outside the woods, and the calamitous Yao behind him was of unknown strength. For the safety of his classmates, Fang Qin gave up the chance of survival and chose to flee in the wrong direction. As Fang Qin's signal disappeared from the instrument, instructor Luo Lin, seeing this scene, couldn't help but shed tears. He then announced that instructor Fang Qin had led the large calamitous Yao away, completing his mission. Meanwhile, Mingi was on standby in the valley. At this moment, Luo Lin had him go to a series of a scorpion-tailed hawk appeared. Instantly, dense red dots appeared on the instrument. A large number of scorpion-tailed hawks appeared out of thin air. This startled Mingi, but fortunately, the monsters weren't strong. Mingi threw punch after punch, followed by a series of swift combos, instantly eliminating the calamitous Yao that had just appeared. Just as Mingi thought the threat was eliminated, another batch appeared in the next second. Mingi cursed, "Did I just stir up a hornet's nest?" Instructor Luo Lin said, "These scorpion-tailed hawks are endless. I've been observing how they appear. There seems to be a breeding factory to your south. After you killed the scorpion-tailed hawks in front of you, that place produced another batch." Immediately, Mingi set off, sparks flying along the way, and arrived at the location indicated by instructor Luo Lin. A glowing circle appeared before him, with a large number of scorpion-tailed hawks continuously emerging from it. At this point, Mingi began to absorb the wind attribute. Then, accumulating power in his fist, he unleashed a giant wind fist blast. Unleashing a surprising force, he directly AoE killed all the calamitous Yao in front of him. Afterwards, Mingi walked towards the light. He discovered it wasn't a breeding factory, but a portal to another world. Just as Mingi attempted to touch the portal, instantly, a powerful suction force pulled him in, and where he was going was an extremely dangerous and mysterious space. The first time this man traveled to another world, he ran straight into the calamitous Yao's lair. But instead of panicking, he began to observe these terrifying creatures. At this moment, the army of insects discovered the intruder's presence and charged towards Mingi. A goddess yelled for Mingi to leave quickly, jolting him out of his trance. Immediately, Mingi turned and fled. Then, the goddess began to gather energy. She unleashed a starlight blast. The instant Mingi was transported back, it completely destroyed the portal to the other world. Mingi, having just escaped, collapsed to the ground in terror. The goddess said, "If you had looked any longer, your soul would be lost." But a greater danger was quietly approaching. Elsewhere, a calamitous Yao with mimicry abilities discovered instructor Fang Qin's body. The two immediately merged. The calamitous Yao transformed into the likeness of instructor Fang Qin. With its camouflage ability, the Yao stealthily approached the other students in the valley. Catching them off guard, it annihilated the entire squad. The Yao's next target was Mingi in the fog. Later, the calamitous Yao, disguised as Fang Qin, found Mingi. Fang Qin said, "I'm injured, help me up." Just as Mingi was about to go over, he noticed that instructor Fang Qin's shoes weren't wet. From the woods to where Mingi was, the stream was the only path. Just as Mingi got closer, the calamitous Yao leaped into the air and launched a sneak attack. Fortunately, Mingi had sensed something was wrong and dodged the shameless Yao's attack. The robust calamitous Yao dropped the pretense and transformed into its true form. It then flung out countless vines, aiming to sever Mingi's waist. After narrowly dodging these attacks, Mingi knew that his only chance was to counterattack during a gap in the Yao's assault. He needed to find a suitable mystic fist scenery. But the calamitous Yao's attacks became increasingly fierce, giving him no respite. It frantically swung its vines, forcing Mingi to constantly evade. Seeing Mingi forced into a corner with no way out, he grabbed a handful of sand from the ground and threw it at the Yao's large eyes, momentarily repelling it. The Yao taunted, "Is that all you've got?" Mingi's every move was being anticipated. He tried to draw mystic fist attributes from the ground, but the Yao charged, giving him no time to gather power. Even Mingi's fighting habits were quickly discerned by the Yao. Just as Mingi retreated to dodge, The Yao thrust a vine from the ground. Mingi abruptly stopped and leaped forward, narrowly avoiding the fatal blow. Mingi knew that close-quarters combat like that was too dangerous, but he couldn't find a suitable mystic fist scenery. The calamitous Yao attacked again. As Mingi dodged, he searched for a solution. Suddenly, something that sprung from the ground caught his attention. It was obsidian, dozens of times harder than ordinary rock. Mingi remembered a small obsidian quarry on the side of the valley from his morning training. He immediately set off for the quarry, with the Yao in hot pursuit. The relentless chase led Mingi to the quarry. Seeing Mingi trapped, the Yao smirked, but it didn't know that Mingi had already extracted the obsidian's attributes. Then he quickly gathered power in his fist and slammed it into the ground with all his might. The entire ground in front of him shattered. The calamitous Yao was startled by the scene. When the smoke cleared, the calamitous Yao had a hole blasted through its chest. The calamitous Yao let out a painful howl and collapsed to the ground with a thud. Mingi then noticed a glowing object on the calamitous Yao's corpse. He was a superhuman known as Five Thunder's mimic. Wielding powerful lightning, he could easily kill the monsters in an instant when facing the ambush of the red-eyed spiders. Lu Qian only needed to make a slight move to instantly kill the monsters. A student beside her exclaimed, "Sister Lu Qian, you're so amazing. I could never kill them." To avoid the calamitous Yao's pursuit, Lu Qian led the other students to meet up with Instructor Zhong. The instructor warned everyone not to stay there for long, as more powerful calamitous Yao would arrive. So everyone started to move. Later, when everyone reached a mountain road a distance from Silver Coin, they suddenly discovered a large number of calamitous Yao corpses lying on the ground. And these were all killed by Instructor Miaolon. Just as Miaolon urged everyone to hurry back to Silver Coin, he was suddenly pierced through the body by a sharp weapon. A giant spider appeared in the tree. As the spider opened its bloody maw, Instructor Miaolon perished instantly. The students who witnessed this scene were terrified and ran for their lives. But then the spider shot out several strands of silk, instantly ensnaring the fleeing students. The silk not only bound them, but also sealed off their only escape route. They then realized that the spider had been waiting for them to gather together before capturing them all at once, just like the hunting habits of the Death Eater. When a Death Eater finds a group of giant ants, it won't eat them immediately, no matter how hungry it is. Instead, it waits for them to return to their nest, and then devours the entire ant colony. Lu Qian gritted her teeth. This widow whaler was not only intelligent, but also treating them like ants. Lu Qian realized that the widow whaler knew that the camp was guarded by more powerful humans and was afraid. This meant that the monster wasn't invincible. She shouted, "I'll deal with this beast." However, there was a gap in their strength. When facing the monster's attack, Lu Qian could only flee. The widow whaler began to gather energy and slammed the ground with all its might. Countless steel needles erupted from the ground. Seeing this, Lu Qian quickly dodged and moved to an open area. But Lu Qian felt a sense of foreboding. An intense pressure came from the air. Then a rumbling sound erupted. The students nearby covered their mouths in fear. At this moment, a figure caught the instructor's attention. Lu Qian successfully dodged the fatal blow and moved behind the widow whaler, knocking it to the ground with a single slap. Then she activated her thunder sound skill and delivered a flying kick from the sky. Lu Qian then waved her hand and retrieved her weapon from afar. She imbued the weapon with lightning power and threw it at the widow whaler. A sizzling sound followed as a powerful electric current surged through the spider's body. The widow whaler roared in pain and immediately spat out several mouthfuls of something. Instructor Zhong rushed over and shouted, "Lu Qian, come to me." He then held up a scroll in front of Lu Qian. What the spider had just spat out was highly corrosive venom. Lu Qian said that she had severely wounded the widow whaler. "We have a chance to escape." Meanwhile, a large group of pig Yao suddenly appeared on the other side. But what happened next puzzled everyone. The pig Yao began to gnaw on the corpses of their companions. After finishing eating, the small pig Yao ran towards their leader. The widow whaler opened its large mouth and unceremoniously added a late-night snack. By devouring the other pig Yao, the widow whaler's wounds began to heal. This meant that the previous fight was all for nothing. Instructor Zhong shouted, "Students, you are all superhumans. By working together, you can escape this predicament." But the other students were so frightened that they just sat there stunned. Lu Qian said she didn't blame them. This widow whaler was a crazed, mutated leader. It possesses the ability to instill fear. It plants a seed of fear deep within the hearts of everyone present. It's very difficult to resist unless your power has reached the Sun realm. Seeing that it was impossible to kill this calamitous Yao with its healing ability, Lu Qian told Instructor Zhong to take the students and leave first. Instructor Zhong asked, "But what about you? They will surround you after we leave." Lu Qian replied, "This is my choice. It is also my responsibility. And I also believe that after they grow stronger, someday in the future, if their junior classmates are in danger, they will also step forward." Then she walked straight towards the widow whaler. This is a pig Yao with healing abilities. As long as it devours its companions, it can repair its broken claws. In order to rescue the other students of the Superhuman Academy, Lu Qian had to step forward and fight again. But at this moment, the widow whaler let out a roar, and a red light erupted from its eyes. In the next second, Lu Qian found herself trapped in a spiderweb. She quickly realized that this was the widow whaler's illusion. Meanwhile, Instructor Zhong was leading the students in an orderly fashion through the escape route. Just as he turned around and called out to Lu Qian, he found that he couldn't wake her up at all. At this moment, more pig Yao appeared. A student shouted, "This web is starting to regenerate. If we don't leave now, it will be too late." For the safety of more students, the instructor abandoned Lu Qian. The widow whaler told Lu Qian, "Your companions have left you. They can continue to live with peace of mind, but your body will be gnawed on by my children until there's not even a bone fragment left." Lu Qian shouted, "I know your pattern. You can't trap me." The widow whaler said, "You are actually quite pathetic, seemingly a chosen one, attracting attention in the crowd. But you have never felt true sincerity. They flatter you hypocritically, yet keep their distance from you. They only think you are hypocritically maintaining your perfect and flawless image." After hearing these words, Lu Qian's psychological defenses were completely destroyed, putting her in a very dangerous situation. On the other side of the web, Mingyi rushed over. Instructor Zhong quickly stopped him, telling Mingyi not to go and die. "That widow whaler has a leader's aura. You will be suppressed by fear." Mingyi shouted, "Compared to the pain of losing someone, that little bit of fear is nothing." Then he rushed straight into the web. At this time, a sound came from the assistant instructor's communicator. Luo Lin told them that it had just sent a member of the deaf-mute group to help. The students asked in confusion, "What deaf-mute group, instructor?" They only saw Mingyi running over. Instructor Zhong had a look of disbelief on his face. He couldn't believe that a member of the Special Operations deaf-mute group would be a newly enrolled student. Seeing the pig Yao on the ground about to attack Lu Qian, Mingyi arrived just in time and immediately rushed forward. He unleashed a series of punches, instantly killing the surrounding pig Yao. The enraged Mingyi immediately began to gather his power. Landing a heavy punch on the widow whaler, he sent it crashing to the ground. The moment the widow whaler hit the ground, Mingyi darted forward. He rapidly left countless fist imprints on the pig Yao. The widow whaler, knowing this man was dangerous, hurriedly spat out a web. Terrified, it quickly tried to flee. At this moment, Mingyi slowly raised his hand. Then, with an upward swing, he unleashed his ultimate soul wing, Heart Scar. Countless fists rained down from the sky, slamming the widow whaler back to the earth. A series of explosions followed. The widow whaler, battered by this combo, was left with only its head. It frantically summoned its underlings, attempting to heal itself once more. But Mingyi gave it no chance to recover. He immediately activated Heart Scar, All's final power. A sharp, murderous intent erupted from his eyes. A massive energy blast plummeted from the sky, instantly executing the widow whaler. Mingyi's attack had blasted a large crater into the ground. At this moment, Lu Qian woke up, but her body refused to obey, and she collapsed. Mingyi instantly rushed forward and held her tightly in his arms.